Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, you Potter Than Hellions. Welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. My name is Steve. I am your host, and I am joined as always here by
BC
and
BB.
And we have our keyboard player, Dylan.
Yeah, that's me.
All right. And we are joined by our extra special, awesome guest that we're borrowing, Stephen Michael, from your podcast, Sonny Pooni.
How's it going, guys? Now, look, first thing, I'm going to set a record here. 80s Kiss rules. 80s albums all together are 338 minutes and 33 seconds. The producers were Vinnie Poncia, Bob Ezrin, Gene Simmons, Michael James Jackson, Paul Stanley, Ron Nevison. Bam, new record.
All right.
Yeah, that's the new record.
That is
the
new record. All right. I'm sorry, Sonny. We're just going to have to cut that out. All right. Now that we got Kiss out of the way, all right. See that, Dylan? It's not just me.
No.
All right, Sonny, that was freaking great.
Classic.
That was excellent. So, Sonny, before we get rolling here, how's things going with you? How's things going with Growing Up Rock and with Podcast Rock City? What's up with you guys?
Things are going great. I mean, Kiss is always in the news, and the Kiss Cruise just happened, so we're never short of Kiss topics on Podcast Rock City. And Growing Up Rock, Steven's doing a great job lining up interviews, and we usually have some pretty cool topics, so we're just kind of getting started there, getting our feet wet there, but all's good.
Excellent. Yeah, you guys, you're definitely rocking it on both podcasts. Steven does a great job. I talk with him, pretty much every week. We're, bullshit back and forth and see what's going on with each other. And Podcast Rock City, you guys have the, not the copy off McDonald's, but the supersized Kiss Cruise episode. I did talk with Joe Polo on the cruise a couple times. We didn't get a chance to really do anything podcast-wise together, but he did, and I'm going to thank him personally on the podcast here for hooking me up with Keith Valcourt, the guy that did the vault with Gene. I'm sure you'll meet him when you get your vault. Sonny, wait till you see the vault, man. It is made really, really well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and lucky for me, I'm getting it on a Saturday, and that Sunday I'm flying back to Wisconsin, so I'll be able to do the episode like the day after, so it'll be fun.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, this is the first episode that we've actually recorded since I've been back from the cruise, and we're going to be doing a Kiss Cruise wrap-up show in a couple weeks with my buddy Rob and Chris that were on here with the last Kiss episode that we did. Scheduling's been kind of tough between the three of us, but we are going to have a Kiss Cruise wrap-up show on the Potter Than Hell podcast here. Before any of that is done, I just have to say that Bob and Bruce Kulick absolutely blew my mind on that Kiss Cruise.
Yeah, the video looks amazing, and they need to take that band on the road, man. I would pay whatever to go see that.
Oh, I would too. Definitely. I mean, it was just amazing. And Todd Kearns and Brent Fitz on drums, amazing band. And Todd just sang the hell out of them songs. And to hear Turn on the Night played live without keyboards was just amazing. All right, so I just wanted to get that out there. I'm not going to do a whole Kiss Cruise thing here, even though, Dylan, you got to blame Sonny. He brought up Kiss before I did.
No, I'm proud of you for not saying it during the intro, I guess.
All right. Yeah. Welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. I just got back from the Kiss Cruise. All right, and unfortunately, what seems to be a trend on this show with the last couple times we've been on, sad news to report, Malcolm Young, rhythm guitar player forever and AC/DC, songwriter, most solid rhythm guitar player you would ever hope in a million years to have in a band, has passed away. He was ill for several years. I believe he had dementia, and he had a rough road the last couple of years, and our thoughts are with the AC/DC camp and all us fellow fans. And what do you think, BB?
Yeah, like you said, him and his brother were the driving force behind those guys. Songwriting, rhythm guitar, him and Angus, they're the heartbeat of that band, and it's just terrible. It's a terrible that dementia is just a terrible disease, and hopefully he's resting well now and kicking ass up there and joining a little heaven band making music with Dio and
There's
who
enough
knows who
lead
else.
guitar. There's enough lead guitars up there. They needed a rhythm guy up there.
So there you go.
Again, like you said, kick-ass rhythm guitar player, solid. You can't ask for a better guy. A guy like to drink some beer too, so I can't complain about that. And hopefully he's, like you said, last few years is a little rough. So hopefully he's rest in peace.
Yeah. What do you think, Sonny?
I am becoming a bigger AC/DC fan, especially the Bon Scott era, almost every day. I don't know why. For some reason, Bon Scott sounds right to me in my head over the last 4 months.
Yeah, baby.
So to know that Malcolm was there from the beginning, it's a sad day.
Yeah, very sad. What do you think, Dylan?
AC/DC, you can't get any more well-renowned than that. Everybody knows AC/DC, whether you're a hard rock fan or just a casual radio listener. They're just a band that have blew up, and rightfully so. And Malcolm Young was a giant part of that, and it's really sad to see him go. You knew something wasn't right when he left the band, and it was just Angus. But you hate to hear news like this.
Yeah. I'm with with everybody here. He was just an amazing, solid rhythm guitar player. And him and Cliff Williams, those guys, and whether it be Phil Rudd or Chris Slade, were just the backbone of AC/DC. They stand in the back, they walk up when it's time for background vocals, and then they go right back in the background. But those guys were just so solid, amazing band. And I'm going to put everybody on the spot right here. I'm going to go around the table. Favorite AC/DC song, where do you think Malcolm shines the most? BC.
Oh, God. Have a drink on me, baby.
Okay. Sonny, what do you think?
I will always pick Sin City.
All right. Dylan.
Beating around the bush.
All right. BB.
Problem Child.
All right.
That's a good one.
I am going to say Rock and Roll Damnation. That song is just such a driving force of a song. And the best part about this question is there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Except
Everything is
It
just...
shook me all night
Shook
long.
me all night long.
well, I'm sorry. There's one wrong
Except for
answer.
that.
That was the one BC was gonna say.
But even on that, Malcolm does well with what he's given.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you didn't hear it everywhere you go, it
Yeah.
still would be a good song.
No,
Like-
absolutely.
Like I said in the one episode before, if you're at a wedding and hearing dance and country shit all night long, and they play "Shook Me All Night Long" towards the end of the thing, you're actually glad to hear that song. But that's the only time I think that I'm glad to hear that song.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Sonny?
I actually don't mind Shook Me All Night Long, to be honest with you. But it's amazing that like Hell's Bells or Highway to Hell isn't the song that is. It's not the song, the first song that people talk about when they talk about AC/DC. For some reason, it's always Shook Me All Night Long. I don't know why. It should be Back in Black. That's what it's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I could not agree more. And, like we said, everyone out there, very sorry for all the fans and family and everything out there. Because I'm sure Angus is probably going to listen to this podcast once we get it done here. But, all joking aside, he will be missed. And he's missed already because they played the last tour with, I believe it's their cousin George Young on rhythm guitar, right? And that's not the only time that George has played with AC/DC, because one of the 2 times that I saw him with AC/DC, I believe, was the Blow Up Your Video tour that Malcolm was having, I think, substance problems or alcohol problems, and he didn't do that tour with them. And George played rhythm guitar for that tour. So, and he's back with them now. So, and with Cliff Williams gone, Angus is the sole AC/DC guy that's left. So we don't know if we're gonna get an album with Axl out of the deal or what's gonna happen, but.
I don't know if I see AC/DC lasting too much longer, honestly.
People are going to go see AC/DC. They're going to see that logo and they're going. Even if it's just to hear "Shook Me All Night Long." BC's shaking his head all night long over there. All right, we are going to shift gear. And everybody out there, instead of mourning Malcolm, let's celebrate him.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go home, throw some AC/DC on. Right now when I'm talking, Dylan's going to have some awesome AC/DC song playing behind my voice here. I love putting production things on him while I'm talking. It's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
And we're going to shift gears here. We're going to talk about the new Iron Maiden live album, The Book of Souls, the live chapter. And we've all talked about this album during the week, and not actually talked about it, just said that we're going to talk about it. BB, what's your thoughts on this album?
You can't go wrong. It's a live Iron Maiden album.
Extravaganza.
They haven't actually released a bad live album, so this just falls right in the mix of good albums. Fear of the Dark and Blood Brothers really stick out for me. I thought they were really, really catchy, grabby, the way they were doing them live. But like I said, awesome kick-ass live album that you can't go wrong with.
All right, I'm gonna throw it to Dylan next.
I'm honestly excited that they have a lot of the great tracks on Book of Souls on there. The Red and the Black is still my favorite song off that album, and it's awesome live. I just have one problem with this live album.
I affectionately call it the Black and the Red.
Yeah, every time you always call it the Black and the Red. It's not like they sing it in the song.
I know.
The Black and the Red. No,
He's got the colors right.
But the one problem I have with the album is at the very beginning, during If Eternity Should Fail. On the album version, they have like the Here's the Soul of a Man, like echoey Bruce singing it. On this album, this live album, they have Bruce singing it live, but then they also have a recorded version of Bruce singing it as well. So it kind of clashes when it happens. Like sometimes Bruce is earlier than the recording, sometimes he's later, and it sounds just really dissonant and it doesn't really mesh well. If they just had like an echo effect on the voice, that would have been perfect, or if they just did the recording, that would have been fine too. But it feels like they tried to get the best of both worlds and ended up not so great. But the rest of the song was good.
We're not supposed to be paying attention that much.
Yeah, well, I like to listen to albums, but like the rest of the album's amazing. It's Iron Maiden, you can't go wrong.
And it's funny because I didn't notice that until Dylan brought it to my attention actually today, and it's a little bit off. What's your thoughts, Sonny?
I agree with Dylan on that piece. I will tell you, Maiden didn't get the memo that Rock and Metals did.
Yeah.
They must have missed the memo, because these guys sound just as good as they ever have. And they also didn't get the memo, don't play new songs because people go to the bathroom, because half of these are new songs.
Yeah.
Which I love.
It's one of my favorite Maiden albums, the new album.
I love it. I think that the production on the Book of Souls album itself is a little lacking compared to the other ones that Kevin Shirley has produced. I don't know. There's a little something missing in it, I think. Excellent album nonetheless. But the live stuff is great. The Red and the Black is really great on there. It was great to hear Wrathchild again.
Yeah.
Because when I put that on, I didn't realize it was on the album because I just hit play and like, holy shit, there's Wrathchild, and it sounds great.
Again, how can you go wrong? It's Iron Maiden, and second, it's live Iron Maiden. And like I said, I don't think they've ever put anything bad out except for the Blaze Bailey stuff.
Here we go.
But I mean, like the Red and the Black. Believe it or not, I like Power Slave. For some reason, I like the way Bruce is just. I don't know.
And to think the guy had throat cancer like
Exactly,
2 years ago is
yeah.
just
The
insane.
way he just sings "Fear of the Dark" is always one of my favorites. The Book of Souls. I mean, again, ranks up there in my top favorite Iron Maidens.
Brought back Children of the Damned.
Absolutely.
For the story, and that was.
I was gonna let's go around the horn here. Favorite song on there, Sonny.
Man, I always have to go Wasted Years, but I won't this time.
Okay.
I would say Speed of Light.
Oh, all right. BC.
Power Slave.
BB.
Fear of the Dark.
Dylan.
It's a tie between Children of the Damned and Red and the Black.
Okay. I'm going to go The Great Unknown.
Yes.
Oh.
Very cool song, and that was one of the songs when we saw them, they didn't play that song live.
No, they did Tears of a Clown.
They did Tears of a Clown instead, which
Yeah.
both songs are great, and I just like, it was cool hearing that song, and that's my thing there. And one more thing I want to say real quick about it is the production on this album is great. If you put a pair of headphones on and listen to this album, you can distinctly hear each guitar player, depending on which way you have your headphones on. Dave Murray's in one ear, Yannick Gears is in the other one, and Adrian Smith is split right down the middle. And I don't know if anybody out there really else has noticed that, but check it out. The production on it is fantastic, and it's Iron Maiden's new live album. It's called Book of Souls, a live chapter. You guys get out there, buy it, purchase the physical copy. It's out on vinyl. BC, you got the vinyl, right? How many records is that?
3.
3. Very cool. Sonny, how did you get it? Do you have it on CD? You downloaded it or vinyl? What do you got?
I bought it on iTunes, so I have a iTunes account. I just buy it off iTunes. I'm not a streamer. I rather own it. So even if it's a download, I own it. But I mean, they didn't jip you. It's an hour 41 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a long album. It's great, and you know what? And I like it too because there's not a shitload of talking in between songs. I hate that. It drives me crazy. What do you think, BB? What do you got?
Like you said, not a lot of talking and great balance. It's a great balance of bringing back some old tunes and throwing even the songs from the new album in there. Just a great balance, and like everybody said, you can't go wrong. And did you notice we didn't have a repeat of a song? Like that's how great this album is. Everybody picked a totally different song.
Yeah, that's very true.
Absolutely, I agree.
The only thing that sucks is there's no Hallowed Be Thy Name, but they're going through that lawsuit right now, and it's on all the other ones, so it's not that big a deal, but it's still missed.
It is missed. It is, but it makes room for another song, though.
Yeah.
All right, that is our quick down and dirty review of the new Iron Maiden live album. So now we're going to jump into our main topic of the week, which I was on Facebook looking at, it was some kind of rock or metal page or something like that, and someone commented, it was about a singer. Someone was talking about singers or something like that, and then I was reading all the comments, and there was like 40-some comments. I was bored, so I was reading all of them just with nothing to do, and some dude put on there, and I couldn't even tell you what Facebook page it was, what singers they were commenting on, and the one dude goes, "Man, that guy belongs on Mount Rushmore." And I'm like, that is a fucking great topic for a show. So we're not doing singers, but on this episode, we're doing the Mount Rushmore of guitar players. And I put some rules out there, and I totally threw Dylan off because Dylan had this grandiose plan, which he'll tell you about in a minute, what he was going to do. But the Mount Rushmore is going to be, they have to be in an American band. They don't have to necessarily be, a Native American if there is such a thing, but they have to be in an American band. So we're gonna do two different versions of it. We're gonna do like the main version, which all hail kind of guys. But then we're gonna do an under the radar, underrated guitar player Mount Rushmore, which I think is gonna be interesting. None of us knows who's going to pick. I think these guys were looking at my pages while we were getting ready for this, but everybody had theirs picked by then.
I can't believe you picked Bruce Springsteen. That's just such a shocker.
I know. He's just so good. All right, Dylan. So before we get going here, tell them what your grandiose plan was here.
Well, let me tell you, this was really difficult because my original plan was, and I still kind of kept to it, but I wanted to do like each guitar player represented the different president. Like there was going to be the founding father, George Washington. I'm like, oh, well, who's the founding father of heavy metal but Tony Iommi? And then he goes, oh no, they're American. And I'm like, so I can't do anybody that I was thinking. I couldn't do like Tony Iommi. I couldn't do Jimmy Page.
That's the beauty of it.
I was like, Alex Lifeson. Oh no, Alex Lifeson's Canadian. Can't do him either. So I had to really just blitz it and try my best. But I guess
that's a shame. Do
you want me to start with my first?
No.
Okay, never mind.
All right, because I was gonna
no.
Well, I'll see everybody.
I was just gonna say that when I was thinking of doing this, we hadn't done a show with Sonny in a while, and we were talking about it. And whenever we have a guest on here, we if someone brings it up, we all agree on who's going to be on. So I said, you guys might mind if I bring Sonny on this one? And everyone's like, hey, great idea. Sonny, what'd you think when I threw this out to you?
All these names popped into my head, and then you said American, and I'm like, oh, damn.
Yes.
Exactly.
Half the people I had in my head, I'm like, wait a second, is he born? And I went with, if they're not born in America, I didn't put him on my list.
Thank you, Sonny. So, I did that too.
Like Nuno didn't make my list because he's not born in America.
Exactly. I did that too.
That may come up later in the episode. Uh-huh. We'll talk about it then.
Yeah.
And Sonny and I will call you out on it, each and every one of you.
All right, so we're going to start now, Dylan. Go ahead with your first pick. I'll let Dylan go first since he was all gung-ho to do it.
Okay, so I'll guess order of importance for, like, the presidents.
Okay, you don't have to go in any order if you don't want to.
So I'll start with the Teddy Roosevelt of the Mount Rushmore. So this guitarist, he's kind of a rough rider. You know, he speaks softly, carries a big stick. He's a big drinker. And sadly, he's no longer with us. I'm going with Dimebag Darrell for my Teddy Roosevelt on the Mount Rushmore of hard rock guitarists.
Okay, and also when I threw this out there to the guys, I wanted everybody to pick their guitar player, but I also wanted them to pick an album that these guys played on that is their favorite album that this artist is on. And then I want them to pick a song also that really showcases their talents. So, Dylan, what album do you got for Dimebag?
So I had to pick their fifth album, not their debut album, BC. Cowboys from Hell. You can't go wrong with it. The mainstream introduction to Pantera with the title track "Cowboys from Hell." That's an amazing intro to this guitarist. But the song that I picked for him was off of Vulgar Display of Power, and it's "Mouth for War," because I think it encompasses the like slower-ish parts, and then there's like a speed up part of it. And Dimebag's playing is second to none on many of those tracks on both albums. But
all right, cool.
Dimebag Darrell is amazing.
All right, and after everybody says their thing, we'll go around the table real quick, and everybody can give their thoughts on that guy. BC, what do you Dimebag? What do you got? What do you think?
Classic guy. I mean, wish he was still here.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't a big Damage Plan guy, but I was definitely interested in what he came up with.
All right, very very unique sounding. Sonny, what's your thoughts on Dimebag?
I'm not a huge Pantera fan, but I loved his guitar playing because he totally affected one of my Mount Rushmore guys later on. So Dimebag is cool with me.
Cool. BB.
Yeah, he was definitely on my radar. I know I kind of went a little bit different, but how can you not? Like all these younger guys, younger guitar players are trying to copy what Dimebag did, but like BC said, it's a tragedy to what happened to him. It's unbelievable.
Okay, I'm gonna say great guitar player, very very cool, very distinctive sounding guy. He had that when you listen to Zakk Wylde, he has that squeal,
The crybaby pedal.
Yeah, but Dimebag also has his own distinctive squeal. Like you hear that, you know that's Dimebag. Very solid player, awesome, and good pick, Dylan. Dimebag Darrell, and BB. Who you got for your first guy?
I'm gonna throw Sonny off, and I'm gonna jump in front of Sonny because from what he said, I also have a bearded wonder by the name of Zakk Wylde, but I throw in a little curveball. This is gonna be the Zakk Wylde with the beard.
Oh, so no Ozzy Zakk Wylde?
That may come up later.
No.
But this bearded Zakk Wylde.
Wait, so you're gonna have?
What?
Are you gonna have two Zakk Wyldes at your Mount Rushmore?
I may.
Oh my god.
We're gonna have a bearded Zakk, and we're gonna have a clean-shaven young Zakk. It's my Mount Rushmore. I can do what I want to. God damn it. And that's the bottom line.
Okay,
I'm writing them down. So am I writing
right now?
the bearded or the clean shaven?
I'm gonna tell you the bearded one first.
Okay.
Because since I'm such a big Zakk fan, that's what I'm gonna do.
Mount
Okay.
Zackmore.
Mount Zackmore. Thank you.
That's what BC
that
thinks
was
about
coming
it.
up.
I'm going to say something.
My song is the brand new song that they just released, Room of Nightmares. And why? Because he released his own set of Zakk Wylde audio guitars. And with that sound, he has almost forgotten about his crybaby pedal. If you listen to the song Room of Nightmares, there's no that Zakk does. I think he's going in a great direction. I think, the last couple Black Label albums, even with the Ozzy's album, they all started sounding the same. You listen to Room of Nightmares, you know it's Zakk, Zakk Wylde singing. The playing's a little different. It's not so over the top harmonics, pedal craziness. But that's my song. The album for Bearded Zakk, it's going to be from 2010. It's called is from the Black Label Society, Order of the Black. Songs on that: Crazy Horse, Overlord, Godspeed, Hellbound, Black Sunday. Like that, that's classic Zach. Melt your six strings. Bearded Zach, kick your ass, break the beer bottle over your head.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Durst. Fuck you,
Fuck
Fred
you, Fred
Durst.
Durst, and everything else. And
Okay.
That was drinking Zach.
it wasn't bearded Zach, that was drinking Zach.
All right, BC, bearded that. Yeah, bearded.
Bearded
that.
Zach.
Bearded Zach. Oh my God, this is gonna be a long night.
That's the name of the new band.
Bearded Zach.
Bearded
Bearded
Zach.
Zach. What do you think, BC?
This is different. Two versions of the same guy. I like
See, you blew it though. You
it's
should
different.
have brought
You
that out
blew
later.
it.
But I didn't tell you my clean shaven one yet, though.
No, but we still know he's gonna be there though.
So, anyways,
All right, go ahead, BC. I'm sorry.
Zach. I mean, again, Zach is just Zach. I mean, from when he was before bearded until now, I think he's just. I mean, I remember Ozzy picked him, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, 18-year-old kid. Who is this?" And that was the big thing back then.
All right, I'm gonna jump in real quick. Bearded Zach.
Very good.
Very, very cool, and you're totally right, BB, that he did everything started to sound the same. He was in my opinion, the guitar player version of Miles Kennedy, where I could only listen to a couple things in a row where I just have to shut it off because it all just sounded the same.
No, the guitar player Miles Kennedy is Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh, that's just a whole nother show. All right, I'm gonna quit while I'm behind here. Sonny, what's your thing here? What do you think?
I love both Zachs, but only one made my list. I'll talk about him later.
Okay. All right. Dylan.
Zach Wilde. I mean, not many people have that signature guitar, like let alone guitar sound, but that guitar that people know. It's like, oh, bullseye guitar, Zach Wilde.
Right.
So you have to see that as a testament to the guy's skill.
And Bearded Zach is the one that we did meet and was very cool to us.
Yeah,
Yes, very
Zerded
cool.
Back was awesome.
Bearded Zach. I think I'm going to hear that again tonight for some reason or
Absolutely.
another.
Several times.
His name's not
again,
Rick,
and again.
it's Rich.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, it's not easy being me. All right, BC, who's your first pick?
I'm gonna go a little off the
Off the crazy train.
off the crazy train. I'm gonna go with John Petrucci of Dream Theater. I mean, here's a guy that could play any style. I think from like classical guitar all the ways to like downright speed metal.
Absolutely.
And there's just so much. I mean, there's so many albums that have been. How do you narrow it down? But I mean, Train of Thought, I thought was a great one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And but I'm not gonna go with the song from that. I'm gonna Peruvian Skies.
Okay.
It starts
Peruvian
off
Skies.
Peruvian.
Yeah,
I see.
Peruvian.
Peruvian, Propographic, whatever.
We'll edit that out.
Peruvian Skies.
Anyways, I mean, there's a song that starts off fairly mellow, like like a lullaby, and then all of a sudden at the end it's like
Builds.
like, almost like speed metal. It covers all the bases, I think, in that one.
All right. Album.
It was Train of Thought, he said.
Okay, I'm sorry. I stepped out for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, Sonny, John Petrucci, what do you think?
He's got a beard now.
That's what I
That's
meant
right.
to say.
I think he's great.
Very
I
good
just
job.
wish Dream Theater songs were half the length they are.
That's a valid.
I do
it's
agree
a
with
valid-
that. I do agree with that.
It's a valid thought.
Dylan?
I might be talking a little bit about John Petrucci a little later. Not on this Mount Rushmore, but maybe another one. But
Bearded John Petrucci or
I'm gonna have to go with Bearded. But I'll save my thoughts until that, I think.
Okay. BB?
Yeah, when we saw him down in Wilkes-Barre, man. You don't appreciate a guy playing a guitar until you actually see him live. He's just disgustingly sick the way he plays a guitar.
Absolutely.
A really good pick.
Not only is there John Petrucci, bearded John, there's bodybuilder John.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
Yes,
see?
yeah, he got.
When he first
got-
came
some
out, and
weightlifting.
then at the end, at the last few years, he got.
Yeah,
He's starting to tone it down a little bit now. But
he went
He
George
got-
Lynch for a little while.
he got
there.
George Lynch on there.
Yeah.
but
that's a passion.
Yeah,
base.
and I'm gonna just reiterate what BB said. I was only fortunate to see, I think we have all here only seen Dream Theater once, and
You've seen him
just
twice.
I did see him twice.
Iron Man.
That's right.
Yeah, but
Dylan
I'm
never
fine.
forgets to remind me
Humble
about
brag.
that. Never forgets to remind
I
me
only
about
saw
that.
Dream Theater twice.
And but amazing guitar player and awesome pick. All right. Now I will go back to you, Sonny. What's your first guy here?
All right, so my first guy is actually somebody I've never seen live because I didn't have the opportunity. But we are going to go to Seattle, Washington, and get me some Johnny Allen Hendrix, a.k.a. Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
Love the riffs. Love that he was experimentative. Love that he was new. He was fresh. He was crazy. He's a little beaten. I think that's exactly why I love Ace. Like, I see a lot of Jimi Hendrix and Ace, I think, is just kind of in his own world and doesn't really care about anybody else. But the album that I picked is the very first album, A67, Are You Experienced? 11 perfect songs, in my opinion, that changed electric guitar forever. And the song I'm going to pick is Foxy Lady. Dirty riff, awesome solo.
All right. Every time I hear, I'm going to jump right in. Every time I hear Foxy Lady, I think of Wayne's World. Foxy. With Garth doing the ears. But I will say, good pick. I am not a huge Hendrix fan. He was not even on my radar at all. I mean, he has some. He's kind of someone that I enjoy when other people play his music. And I'm definitely going to be getting hate mail and shit for this one, but I got to speak my mind. I do like some of the songs. Voodoo Child is like one of my favorite songs, but I just like it when other people do it. Okay, Dylan.
I like Hendrix. You have to give it up for how much he's influenced people.
Very
Absolutely.
innovative too.
He's part of the 27 Club, which is just crazy that there are all these celebrities and musicians that died at the age of 27. So that's just crazy. But I like Crosstown Traffic. That's one of my favorite songs.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, Voodoo Child's great. But Hendrix is definitely. I think he earned his place at the echelon
At the table.
of amazing guitarist. He's influenced so many people.
He gets to sit at the adult table. BC.
Definitely respect for Mr. Hendrix, but I mean, personally, I never got really into Hendrix. I mean, I could listen to it. I can't really name other than the hits.
The hits, right?
But definitely,
hits.
you definitely respect the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mr. Smedley's in one of his songs. Mr. Smedley, drink my wine.
Yeah, like how about I can just remember watching videos of him at Woodstock, like back in '69, turning that guitar around because he was left-handed, and
A testament to left-handers out there.
See, Dylan.
Yeah.
A little props to Dylan in his left hand, but he's it's a really good pick. Like how many guys through the '80s were influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and like you guys said, he wasn't even in on my radar either. But now that you throw him out there, you're like, well, yeah, he really influenced some great people, and it's just a sad thing that he's almost like hidden. He's like forgotten about, I think is a good word to put it.
So I didn't forget about him.
No, I guess not.
Oh, no.
In my camp, I guess he's forgotten about. But
You're too young.
yeah, I am.
You're young. You're only a youngin. All right. I am going to go with my first pick here, and this is an obvious pick. That's all I could say. Mr. Edward Van Halen.
What was that?
Born in the Netherlands.
I don't give a shit. He's an American. He is an American rock icon.
Is that why they have a
And-
song called Amsterdam?
Huh? Could be. Shut up, Dylan. But Ed Van Halen, what can you say? He is just amazing. He influenced probably as many, or if not more, guitar players than Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page. He's the Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page of his generation. Is pretty much what it is with him, and we could do a whole show on just the songs and his guitar playing and everything, and but my album is going to be the debut album, Van Halen 1. You can't beat that. There's not even close to being a skippable song on there. It's amazing. But my song pick for him is going to be, it's a short, like 2 minute and 30 some seconds song, I think it is. It's called One Foot Out the Door. It's on Fair Warning. And just listen to 3/4 of the song, I think, is guitar solo. Listen to that song. He just absolutely fucking tears it up on that song. And that's my pick. Eddie Van Halen, Van Halen 1, and 1 Foot Out the Door. BC, Ed Van Halen.
I was going to say he was one of my picks, but I'll throw him out, and I have some backups.
All right.
But,
Well, you know what? Just since you
Eddie,
picked him, go ahead.
No, I mean, Eddie Van Halen, I mean, like you said, back when he first came out, he had a style that was different from anybody else right at that time.
He would turn his back to the audience so that nobody stole the tapping technique.
Right, exactly.
I mean, but I remember hearing it for the first time, like, oh, check these guys on there.
Yeah.
So it was like,
I'd be very surprised if he's not on everybody's list.
He's not on mine. He's not
Of course
American.
he's not.
He's not American.
I'm very surprised.
well, he was born.
He's
but
not American.
He was been in America since he's been like 4 years old.
No, I know. America's a country.
He's just busting Steve's balls, I think.
But hey, it's another guitarist that has a signature guitar, the Frankenstrat.
Sure. Yep. Right?
Like, how can you go wrong? It's a classic guitar, and his sound is just, you instantly know that's Eddie Van Halen playing. And like all these guitarists that I think we mentioned today, you listen to one lick of theirs and you're like, oh, it's this person.
You know who it is.
And Eddie Van Halen, definitely his influence is pretty-
Definitely. Like you said before, the bullseye with the Frankenstein with the red stripes. It's not only an audio thing. It's also a visual thing.
Yeah, he was always with the striped guitars. Sonny, Eddie Van Halen, what do you got?
Love Eddie Van Halen. Love Van Halen and Van Hagar. He didn't make my list because he is the Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page of his own country, and that country is not USA. But that's
Thank you, Sonny.
I'm shaking my head.
I followed the rules.
I'm shaking my head.
Listen, we're just following the guidelines set upon by you.
I'm the host. I can do that. All right. Your thoughts on Ed here, Sonny. And if you were allowed to pick Eddie Van Halen, what song would you pick?
He was one of the first names that popped into my head. I would have took him over Jimmy Page any day of the week and twice on Wednesday.
Agree.
He's the man, no doubt.
Now, if you had to pick a song from Eddie Van Halen that you think showcases him, what would you pick?
I'm a Running with the Devil guy.
Okay.
If I got to go Van Halen route, I could pick tons of Van Hagar songs, but we'll leave that for another day.
Oh, we will. Sorry, Jen. Sorry, Sonny. Sorry, BB.
Come on.
All right. That's our first round. We're going to go. Sonny, you're on a roll here. Who's your number 2 guy?
All right. So my number 2, we're going to go to New York, Mr. Steve Vai.
Okay.
And he lives in Cali now, but he was born in New York. Always loved the look. Always loved the mystique, the colors. I think, in my opinion, he uses like the whammy bar the best because there's like a whole other set of notes that he's playing on the guitar because he's not hitting the whammy bar like everybody else does. He holds on to that thing to make those different notes.
Right.
Unbelievable that he continues to repeat them when he plays them live because they're actually dead on, where you would think that would be harder and harder to do. To me, he's kind of like the heavy metal Zappa. Album-wise, song-wise, I could have picked anything off of Eat 'Em and Smile, Yankee Rose, Elephant Gun, all that stuff's just so kind of like slithery and really cool. But I actually picked my favorite solo by him, which is off Whitesnake's Slip of the Tongue, Wings of the Storm. So if you go to Wings of the Storm, even if you don't like that album, just fast forward to 2 minutes and 16 seconds and listen to minute 14, and you'll get the best solo Steve Vai's ever done.
Wow. Right down to the second. I like it.
Right down to the second.
I didn't know we were supposed to bring time codes to this argument.
That's pretty specific.
I like it.
All right. BC, Steve Vai, who do you got? What do you think?
Again, when he came out with Eat 'Em and Smile with David Lee Roth, I was like, check this guy out. And that might have been probably my first really Steve Vai experience.
Okay. BB.
Yeah, mine too. I'm trying to think. Now that we're talking all this visual guitar thing, did he have a hole in his guitar?
He has a little hand grip. He has a little hand grip.
That's what it was.
And his guitar is 7-string too.
Not always, but he has 6 and 7 string gems. Yeah.
My first experience with Steve Vai was definitely on the G3 albums. Like him and Satch and the third guy, whoever it was on whichever
happened to
album.
be.
All right.
I'm a little disappointed that he's not on this G3 tour because I really want to see him live. He's just a virtuoso at the guitar. He, like you said, he just makes these notes appear out of nowhere that a lot of people would think, you know what, let's not try to do that. But he's able to perfectly get it with his whammy, and it's amazing.
Right, and I'm gonna say that I personally have seen Steve Vai live twice. I saw him with David Lee Roth twice with the first two tours, Eat 'Em and Smile and Skyscraper. Totally amazing. Even if you just watch the video for Yankee Rose, and I mean, it's all lip sync shit, but like slinging the guitar around and hanging the guitar out by the whammy bar and doing stuff, but he does that shit live because the whole show was that. When they played live on the Eat 'Em and Smile tour, which for the hundreds and hundreds of concerts that I've seen, that is still in my top 2. That concert, Eat 'Em and Smile tour. There was a part in the show where Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan did a back and forth combined solo thing with Greg Bissonette. And it's just absolutely amazing. I'm gonna look for that. I know it's online because I watched it about a month ago, and I'm gonna post that. If anyone out there thinks that Steve Vai is not just like totally amazing, along with Billy Sheehan and Greg Bissonette, just check that out. Steve Vai, Sonny, awesome pick.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, so we will move on to BC.
I'm gonna go with the Randy Rhoads.
Okay.
I mean,
Bearded or
Bearded or not?
skinny
Polka
Randy.
dotted or not polka
Polka
dotted?
dotted or not polka dotted?
another classic guitar.
Just
He plays
Randy
Vinnie Vincent's
Rhoads.
guitar, doesn't he?
He does. But here's a guy that, I was only 11, 12. Before Ozzy, he was with Quiet Riot, which I never knew until later. Discovered him. And if you listen to some of that stuff, that stuff's really good. I don't know if anybody else has listened to Quiet Riot before, Metal Health. But listen to that. Some of the Randy's playing on that is even phenomenal. But for Randy, I picked Blizzard of Oz and Steal Away Tonight. It's just
All right. Yeah.
there's just like Iron Maiden. There's no bad Randy. I don't.
No, not at all. Like you said, even with the Quiet Riot stuff,
Very
that's-
good.
and it's hard to find.
It is.
The younger when him and Kim just starting off the band, just the young raw sound that they produced was.
I'm really upset because that was my Abraham Lincoln, but I'm gonna pull an audible on Lincoln. But Randy Rhoads, you can't go wrong. I think he's the Aussie guitarist. Sorry, non-bearded Zach, but you think of all the classic Aussie songs that are constantly played over and over. You're thinking Crazy Train. You're thinking I Don't Know. You're thinking Mr. Crowley, Over the Mountain. And these were all Randy Rhoads playing on them. One of my favorite songs of all time, Mr. Crowley. The solo in that is freaking phenomenal. I absolutely love that song. And that solo is still one of my favorite solos of all time. And you just have to give it up for Randy Rhoads.
Sonny, what do you think about Randy Rhoads?
Love Randy Rhoads. Everybody's heard the Ozzy stuff. I agree with BC. If you have not heard the Quiet Riot stuff, they re-released it in '93. It was called the Randy Rhoads Years. And you want to go to Killer Girls because I think his best solo is on a song called Killer Girls from Quiet Riot 2. So check it out.
I will have to check that stuff out. I totally agree with BC. I didn't put him down because I knew someone else would definitely pick him. We talked about him we did the Blizzard of Aussie guitar players, and Randy Rhoads, amazing. I personally like, even though it's not an Ozzy song, listen to Children of the Grave on Tribute. He just rolls out the solo on that, and it is just like his fingers are like butter on that fretboard. Just amazing guitar player. Another one that is unfortunately, taken from us before his time. Well, apparently it was his time, but before we really got to get really a ton of stuff from him.
That's why he was my Abraham Lincoln, but he's not going to be my Abraham Lincoln anymore.
Oh, are you calling an audible, Dylan?
I'm pulling an
Well, see,
audible.
you should have used
Okay.
Dimebag for Abraham Lincoln.
See, I
because they're
thought that
both
was
shot.
too. No, I thought that was too on the nose because Dimebag got shot on stage and Lincoln was in the theater.
Right.
I thought that was a little too on the nose, so
Okay.
I didn't want to be too obvious with it.
All right.
So,
Great pick, BC. Dylan, go next.
okay, so I'll go with my Thomas Jefferson pick. So
Okay.
this is a guy that had to follow.
I'm sure he's going to tell us why.
Yeah, this is a guy that had to follow a really shitty president. Thomas Jefferson had to follow John Adams, and my pick, Kirk Hammett, had to follow Dave Mustaine in going into Metallica. And I'm not saying Dave Mustaine was a crappy guitarist, but in Metallica he was a crappy human being. They had to replace him and bring in Kirk Hammett. But Kirk Hammett, I think, deserves a place on Mount Rushmore because if you listen to just all of the Metallica stuff, from Kill 'Em All to the recent album Hardwired to Self-Destruct, his guitar playing is just freaking phenomenal. And like his guitars, again, looking at the guitars, he has those classic, like old school monster movie posters on his
Those
guitars.
are cool.
And those are amazing. The album that I decided to showcase with Kirk Hammett was Death Magnetic, because I think despite the production being really shitty, the guitar playing on it is
There's
some of the best.
great stuff on
There's
there.
some really good solos in it, and it's right after the non-solo album, Saint Anger.
Ah.
So it's Kirk
Wing.
getting out his frustrations about not being able to play solos in this
He
album.
made up for it.
He absolutely did. And the song that I picked is off of Master of Puppets' Disposable Heroes. I think that's one of the most underrated Metallica songs, and Kirk's playing on it is just top-notch.
Dylan has really been trying to get me to embrace that song, which I still have not.
It's
But I will
amazing.
try it again. But Kirk Hammett, great pick. Forgive me, fellas, I'm going to jump right in here. And actually, I will show my list around the table. You can see Kirk Hammett is in my top 4, but I have him crossed out because I knew someone else would pick him. So I went with someone else. But great guitar player. Awesome. BC.
Again, like Dylan said, listen to his playing. He's one of the biggest bands there is in his playing style.
All right, cool. Sonny.
He would have made my list. He just didn't make the cut of my top 4, but he was definitely an alternate for me. I'm a San Francisco guy, so gotta stick with my Bay Area
Stick with
brothers.
the boys, right?
Hey,
Yeah. So him, Kirk is God out here. There's no doubt. I'm more of a For Whom the Bell Tolls guy, but I love Master of Puppets too. So.
yeah,
Cool. BB.
Yeah, Master of Puppets. I don't think there's a skippable song on that CD.
absolutely not. And the thing
Except-
that should not be is a good song.
I hate the thing that
don't
I
do-
hate the thing that should not be. Hate
It's a
that
good song.
Hate it. Hate
Embrace it.
Hate it. Embrace the thing.
It's better
Is that
than
what you're
Escape off of Ride the Lightning.
telling me? All right, let's not. We'll do Metallica discussion another day. All right, who's next? BB, who you got? Who's your number 2 guy here?
I'm gonna go with Mr. Edward Van Halen.
Bearded or not bearded?
Well, we're gonna go striped Van Halen.
They're all striped Van Halen. Oh, except now. No, they're not now. He doesn't
No,
play.
they're
He
not
plays
now.
the.
And some of the Van Hagar were not striped because he
Thank-
came out with his own stuff.
Thank God.
Like you said, how can you not have Eddie on your Mount Rushmore? But my song for Eddie is "Light Up the Sky"
That's a good one.
off of 2. Like iconic riff in that. My album, I picked a little different. I went with Women and Children first
That's my favorite Van Halen album.
because you have Fools, you have Loss of Control, and then the way they close the album out, Take Your Whiskey Home, which is fucking cranking. Then Could This Be Magic is like
Sucks.
bluesy-ish,
hate
but
that song.
the steel guitar in that is sick. And then in a simple rhyme, the way it ends and closes out the album, it just shows you what he can do in 3 songs of closing out an album. Even though he was born in the Netherlands, I put him on there because he's an American band.
I'll allow it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, no problem. BC, thoughts on Women and Children first, since we already talked about Ed.
I did. He was one of my picks, and that was the album I was going to pick too.
Okay.
And
Just go through yours right now then.
everybody wants it.
Okay. All right. Sonny, Women and Children first, thoughts. What do you think?
Good album, not my favorite Van Halen album.
Okay.
What is your favorite Van Halen album?
5150.
I knew you were going to say
That's a good album, though.
it. It is a good album.
It's a great album.
It is. It's like the Elder of Van Halen. It's a good album, but it's not a good Van Halen album.
Oh man,
Oh, shit.
that's Van Halen 3.
Listen, at
I
least,
just say that.
at least
I'm
Sammy
sorry.
Hagar wasn't singing in high falsetto like Paul Stanley was.
That's true. There is no fanfare on 5150.
There's no just a bully.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
God.
I just busted balls on that one. It just came in my mind. I had to say it. I do enjoy 5150, and back to Women and Children First for me. Great pick. I love that album. Take Your Whiskey Home is probably in my top 5 Van Halen songs of all time, and I do love Fools. What song did you pick, BB?
Light Up the Sky.
Light Up the Sky.
It was
Okay.
either that or
Oh,
Fools.
okay.
but Light Up the Sky.
Van Halen 2, another great album. All right, awesome. I am up next. My next pick is going to be Mr. Joseph Perry from Aerosmith.
That's awesome.
See, I love it. You can't, classic rock, you cannot go wrong with Aerosmith. I'm going to go with the album that is definitely an under the radar. BC knows what album I'm going to pick. BC knows 100% what album I'm going to pick. And I'm going to tell him to reveal the title in a second. But this album is so underrated. And the album that comes after it is what's being considered their comeback album. But I really think that this album was the one. BC, what's it called?
Done with Mirrors.
Done with Mirrors. Fantastic album. That is
not a bad song.
There's not a song that I could skip on Done with Mirrors. And as far as my favorite song that I'm going to pick for Aerosmith is, I don't really have one. There's so many. I consider him and I can't even say Last Child because that's Brad Whitford.
Yeah.
But if I have to throw a couple songs out there, I'll throw out Rats in the Cellar, Toys in the Attic, Sweet Emotion. Those are the songs that I'll pretty much throw out there. But just a great guitar player. If you read his biography, seems like a real cool guy. That's my guy. BB, Joe Perry.
Once again, like I can't. There's no bad picks. Joe Perry. I really didn't quite get into Aerosmith until later in their catalog, but still solid guitarist.
All right, Sonny.
I am a casual Aerosmith fan. I'm learning more about him as the time goes by because Steven is a huge Aerosmith fan.
Okay.
But he would not have made my Mount Rushmore because my Mount Rushmore, I kind of went with, I guess he is a classic rock guitarist, but to me, he's not the ones that I think about when I think about the top 10 guitarists of my lifetime.
Okay.
That's just me.
Cool. Dylan.
Well, he was my George Washington, so I'm going to have to pull an audible on that one too. But if I had to pick a song that I think epitomizes Joe Perry, I'd go with Eat the Rich off of Get a Grip. Because I think that's a great song. It showcases just how good he is at creating signature riffs. Because he's such a bluesy, just such a good... And I'm glad we got to see him play with the Hollywood Vampires because he was just phenomenal in that. He didn't have quite a lot of stage presence.
No,
but
in like 2 shows after the one we saw, the show he collapsed at.
Yeah, but like when he got into it, you could see him really enjoying it, and he's just inspired so many people, and he's amazing. That's why he was my George Washington, but is no longer.
Joe Perry was on my list, but I knew somebody else here would probably pick him, so I put him in the background. But I mean, he's phenomenal in my book. I mean, I liked earlier Aerosmith, and then up to like Permanent Vacation. After that, they kind of went to
Little
radio-ish, pop-ish, you want to call it.
Radio-ish.
Playing the hits, you know what I mean? So I just after that they kind of lost faith, but Joe Perry's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm a big Joe Perry fan.
Another good pick. So who is next? Who's up next here?
I'm just so mad that all my picks keep.
We're gonna go with you, BB, since you're talking.
All right. Well, since I already revealed this one, I'm gonna go with the clean-shaven Zakk Wylde. I'm gonna.
You have two Zacks on the same thing.
Yep. They're gonna be like bookends. We're gonna have like the bearded one on the first one, and then we're gonna go with the clean-shaven at the end. We're gonna have little Zakk bookends.
Little Zack sandwich.
Yeah. My song for the clean-shaven Zakk will definitely have to be Miracle Man. This is the first time I ever actually saw Zakk, and like Dylan said, he has that bullseye guitar, and when I saw that video, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? because back then no internet, no nothing. What happened to the other guy? What happened to Jakey Lee? That was a turning point when I saw that video of Miracle Man. My pick for the clean shaven Zach is going to be Live and Loud from 1993. And why? Because this kid, he's probably only about 23, 24 when this album is recorded, and he has to play songs that were written by, or riffs written by Tony Iommi, Randy Rhoads, Jakey Lee, like something like Mr. Crowley, Paranoid, Flying High Again, War Pigs, Bark at the Moon, Crazy Train. To put that in that young kid's lap, I think he really kicked ass on that album.
Dylan, clean shaven Zach.
The clean shaven Zach.
Listen, if you're able to make an impact on people at that young of an age, I definitely think you deserve a place on Mount Rushmore because.
Yeah, and
listen,
if you're on there twice,
he was
sure,
able to.
shit.
He was
Same
able
mountain.
to. He was able to grab the audience's attention and keep a hold of it for all these years, and he managed to grab Ozzy Osbourne, who probably has the attention span of a goldfish. He was able to grab his attention for how many albums and.
But just think, isn't there was it Roosevelt who was a president, and then there was somebody in the middle, and then he was president again?
Yeah, I know Roosevelt, which ran a
Or
couple
Hoover?
times.
There was a president. There's somebody in between his two.
I think it was Grover Cleveland. I want
Okay.
to say. I used to know all this, but
We'll leave that one for the historians. Dylan, look
I'll-
up that
I'll
fact.
look it-
and
I'll look it
you can
up.
let us know. Sonny, clean shaven Zach. What do you think?
Switch out Devil's Daughter from Miracle Man, and BB said it exactly how I would have said it.
All right, and I will switch out those two for Bloodbath in Paradise.
no. And it was Grover Cleveland. That
Grover Cleveland, okay. So he's the Grover Cleveland of
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore.
There you go.
All right, BC.
Because who would put Grover
No,
Cleveland on Mount Rushmore?
Shaven Zach, like you said, when it first came out that Ozzy picked this 18-year-old kid, you're like, what the hell? And then you're like, no way. Because I think I was 18 at the same time, too. I was like, picking somebody like my age. Holy shit.
BC is clean shaven today, by the way.
I'm clean shaven.
Clean
too.
shaven, be said.
But he came out, and like you said, Jesus Christ, I mean,
Yeah.
he just punched you in the face as soon as he heard him. And Bloodbath, I mean, there's so many.
There's so many good songs.
That whole album is.
All right, BC, you're talking, so give me your next pick.
Since I had to take some people out, I'm going to go with George Lynch.
Okay.
Because, I mean,
Got that wicked.
he has and he has some unique guitars. I mean, they might not be trademark, but he always had the skull
The skull one.
or Mr. Scary guitar.
You're scary.
I guess, I mean, he was more a faster player, I guess you would say. But I mean, in my album would probably be, I mean, not their debut, but the second one is good. But I'm gonna go with Back for the Attack as being all.
All right. Song?
Son, I'm gonna go probably Tooth and Nail.
Tooth and Nail? Okay. Sonny, George Lynch.
Love Lynch. Can't listen to Dokken without Lynch. Love Lynch Mob. Thought Lynch Mob was the upgrade to Dokken when they first came out, and then the music, right? The songwriting kind of got off a little bit, but that first album's awesome. But Lynch has a sound that you just can't copy. Honestly, he can't even copy it. Like I've seen him live like probably
Right.
9-10 times, and I'm like, I don't think he played that solo the same way.
Awesome. Dylan, George Lynch.
I mean, speaking of live, even though he might not play the solos the same way, I think he looks like he plays it effortlessly. Like it looks like it's just a second nature, like breathing. He's smoking a cigarette as he's wailing out a solo. It's just a guy with that much confidence in himself and charisma and just sheer talent. Of course, he should be on Mount Rushmore.
A funny story I heard the other day on Hair Nation. They were talking about George Lynch, and a couple of years ago he was detained over in Germany on a plane. There was something wrong with the pedal that he had. They kind of pulled him aside. They looked in all his baggage, and he's carrying all these guitars and all these pedals and that. And he kept telling these guys, I'm a guitar player. I'm from the United States. I'm in Dokken. And what the story was, the people who detained him said, well, if you're a guitar player, play Stairway to Heaven. And what I found out was George Lynch can't play anything else but George Lynch music.
Really?
Huh.
Oh yeah.
And I only heard that a week ago. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And he can't play Stairway to Heaven. He can't play Eruption.
I can't either.
He can't
I can
play,
fake the beginning
like he
of
can't.
Stairway to Heaven.
The only thing he can play is his stuff.
No stairway. Denied.
Unbelievable. I couldn't believe that.
I find
There
that
was
hard to
an
believe.
interview with Don Dokken, and when they did this reunion thing with Japan, they go practice before the Dakota gig, and they're playing, whatever song, let's say Into the Fire, and Don's like, it doesn't go like that. And come to find out, every Dokken song they were trying, I guess over time, Lynch has changed what he plays. And Don's like, you got to go back and listen to the classics because you're not playing it like we played it on the album.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds about right, though. I know.
Give it a little
Well, yeah. Well,
louder.
listen to when he did that. Was it re-evolutionized album?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all the songs are like crazy. Like I hate it. I do. I think it. George Lynch, awesome pick. Back for the Attack. That would definitely be the album that I would pick. All right. We will move on. Sonny, who's your next guy?
Well, Zach's gotten too much love, so I'm going to get him off my list, although I had the bearded Zach on my list. I am going to replace him with one of my alternates,
Sonny's
Mr. Paul
calling
Gilbert.
audible. I'm sorry.
Paul Gilbert.
Paul Gilbert.
Paul
Ooh.
Gilbert.
Wow. It's a good one.
And this guy was a prodigy, like right out of the gate. And if you've heard any of the Racer X stuff in the early 80s, you listen to Street Lethal, and there's a couple of instrumentals on there that you listen to, you're like, oh my God, that's Paul Gilbert when he's like 20.
I had
It's
that with a
ridiculous.
cassette. It's Scott Travis on drums.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how great he is. I would say he's not talked about enough. He's also got he's got 14 solo albums.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and some of it he sings. He's actually a pretty good singer. So it's not just instrumental albums. So the guy just, is kind of under the radar a little bit, and I think he almost likes it that way. But the album that I'm going to pick is Lean Into It by Mr. Big. And the reason I'm going to pick it is not really for the guitar solos. If you want to hear guitar solos, go listen to Street Lethal or Second Heat by Racer X. Mm-hmm. But the riffs on Lean Into It, even accomplished guitar players got no idea what the hell he's playing. Go check out the riff for Green Tinny's 60s Mind, see if you can figure it out.
We will definitely have to check that out. Lean into it. Okay.
It's definitely a good album.
Paul Gilbert, BC?
Like Sonny said, I mean, even back in Racer X days, and I remember picking that up on a cassette and putting this in, going, "Holy shit, this guy is just tearing it apart." Yeah. And like you said, he had to be 20 years old back then. Though I know back then Scott Travis would later be Judas Priest. I mean, that was a great band. That just, I don't know what happened. They just got lost in the LA scene, I think.
All right, BB, Paul Gilbert.
Yeah, Mr. Big Stuff. Pairing him with Billy Sheehan is like peanut butter and jelly. But no, he did those earlier Mr. Big albums are really, really good. Like, he does a great job on them.
Awesome. Dylan?
Well, anybody that was in a band that got its name from Speed Racer is all right with me. But Paul Gilbert is absolutely amazing. Having him in a band with Billy Sheehan, that's asking for just your mind to explode from awesomeness. But it's really funny that he was born in Carbondale, Illinois, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so that's a
And
really...
Dylan is saying that because we are in Carbondale, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know out there.
Oh.
But Paul Gilbert, I again first heard him on G3 and then didn't look back because I was so happy I got to see him live on when Mr. Big played M3. That's my humble brag that I got to see him.
Yeah, actually, Dylan got to see him and we didn't. And Paul Gilbert is great. He plays that the Iceman guitar.
Yep. Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of lead players play that type guitar. And he's phenomenal, definitely.
Always has the headphones.
Yeah, he's got the headphones on, playing live. But great pick, Sonny. Awesome. And Dylan, go ahead.
Well, my original Abraham Lincoln was Randy Rhoads, but he got picked. So I picked somebody that I guess you could consider the opposite of Abraham Lincoln, because Abraham Lincoln, was very tall. He was the tall president. And this person is constantly shrinking. It's Mick Mars from Motley Crue.
Okay. Incredible shrinking guitar player.
Yeah, Mick Mars. I mean, what can you say about Mick? He's one of the two actually talented members of the band, along with Tommy Lee. But he is an amazing guitarist. I think his chops really stick out on Dr. Feelgood, the album. I think that's an amazing guitar album. And, of course, Kickstart My Heart. The solo in that, despite it being a very popular song, it just rips your head off. And I think that he grounds the band in how good he is when Vince can't quite sing the notes, or Nikki Sixx is
That's been the last 15 years.
BSing his way through a bass line. It's him and Tommy are the band, I think.
All right. Mick Mars, BB.
Yeah, another great pick. To me, Mick Mars and Shout Out the Devil album is phenomenal. Once again, one of those albums that are good from front to back, and the way he plays guitar in that, being, what was that, about 1983, 84-ish?
83.
But man, oh man, like those riffs back then, who the heck is this guy now? Just another one, to add to your collection, but that's a really, really good pick.
Mick Mars, on tape, you kind of listen to him. Probably my favorite is Kickstart My Heart. But he grew up in the music scene with all these shredders and these virtuosos, and I really didn't appreciate Mick Mars until you see him live. And if it wasn't for Mick, I'm not sure I would have ever went back to Motley Crue after the first time I saw him. He's the guy who fills out the sound. So that's when I got an appreciation, was seeing him live.
He holds them together.
Yeah.
Big time. And I'll jump in here for Mick Mars. Great guitar player, and he would be, he's not on my list, but he would be one of the guys that would be on my under the radar list. I don't know if he's underrated. I think he's underappreciated. BC, Mick Mars.
Mick Mars, I mean, here's a guy, like Sonny said, live, he has such a big sound for one guy. It ain't like a two guitar band Motley Crue was.
Right.
And
I think
live did it great.
If Crue went on any longer, I think they would really have to just wheel him out on a hand cart like Hannibal Lecter and set him on the stage. But he has been very mobile the last tour.
Talk about news. There was just news released the other day. He's going back. He's cutting a few songs off. So the solo album Mick Mars will probably be out in January, because he wants to take some songs off and put better ones. He's constantly he wants to tweak the album before coming out.
Cool.
And I think he was, I don't know if you say unappreciated, I just think he was so quiet that people didn't take notice of him.
Yeah, he wasn't
like wild on stage, like wow.
Yeah.
Like he was just very.
He's not
he
loud
played.
enough like
he
Nikki
played.
Sixx,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
Which
like
in a lot of bands, the backbone of the band is like the bass player and the drummer.
Yeah.
But in Motley Crue, the drummer and the guitar player.
Yeah.
Mick Mars, since I'm it.
Because I don't, if you listen to our podcast, that Nikki Sixx is not my most favorite rocker out there, but like Mick Mars, definitely playing wise, definitely outshines Nikki Sixx by 1,000,000%. Good pick, BC.
It wasn't BC, it was me.
Oh, Dylan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Good pick, BC.
All right, pay attention, Steve. Pay attention. My next pick is for my number
Good
3
pick,
guy
BB.
is going to be Uncle Ted, Mr. Ted Nugent. Like I always will say, politics aside, we're not here to discuss any of that shit. Ted Nugent is an amazing, amazing guitar player. When it comes to riffs, it comes to solos. When you open an album with Stranglehold, it's just amazing. He is just a phenomenal, underrated. He should be up there. He's one that I think that is actually one of the main guys that is ripped off by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He should definitely be in there. BB.
Yeah, another great pick, and another, like he's opened up for doo-wop bands when he was 17, and to look at him now, like how far he's come, it's just an amazing road that he's traveled of kicking ass and making those strings melt. He's Uncle Ted. What more can you say?
Definitely. And, and I'm sorry, I didn't give my my album and my song. Well, actually, I kind of did. Stranglehold. Just the epitome of you hear that riff, even I think more than you hear Cat Scratch Fever. That is Ted Nugent, and his definite shining album is his first album. Sonny.
Love Ted, Uncle Ted. My favorite song is Dog Eat Dog.
Good song.
And I think Ted missed the boat because if he would have kept Derek in the band, he would have been huge in the 80s.
Yep, and I just saw Derek on the Kiss Cruise for the second year in a row, and he still brings it. It's a great voice. And Derek is no slouch playing guitar either. BC.
What more can you say about Ted that hasn't been said already by you guys? I mean, phenomenal guy, phenomenal player. And I think his playing gets overlooked because he's very political, and he tells you what he thinks. And
People don't want to hear that.
I think that takes away from his playing, and people just... I think that's what, like Dog Eat Dog, like Sonny said. I mean, Stranglehold. I mean, come on, it's Ted. Don't you?
Done.
I love Ted. I think he should just play more when he plays live
Ted loves you.
instead of talking. But some of the stuff he does is a little small. Like I love My Barbecue. Like come on.
I know.
But like the old classic Ted is phenomenal. You can't go wrong with Stranglehold,
Love Grenade.
Dog, Love Grenade. Love Grenade is a really good album.
That is a good album.
Still Raising Hell's an awesome song. Mm-hmm. But I honestly really like Free for All, and he's good. His more recent stuff besides Love Grenade, it's been hit or miss for me, and he just needs to shut up on stage and just play. But otherwise, I love Ted. I think he's an amazing guitar player.
All right, and since I have not, BB, you talked about Ted, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go first for the last our last guys on our main thing here. Is I'm going to go with Mr. Ace Frehley from Kiss.
Frehley's Comet.
Frehley's Comet, right? But I'm going with the unbearded Ace.
Oh!
Okay?
Listen, I want
Because
to
Ace
hold
is
you.
bearded right now.
I want to hold you as a great song.
Yes.
Could you imagine
Another
him in the makeup
another
with the
guitar
beard?
player that is a major influence on players out there today. And my buddy Rob,
Slash.
you will
Influence
love
on
that I
Slash.
picked Ace. He will. I'm going to be back in his will after busting his balls about calling his Ace shirt Tommy Thayer.
Tommy Thayer shirt.
But the album I'm gonna pick is going to be the first Kiss album, self-titled. I think that really set the tone for Ace's his sound, and he wrote Cold Gin on there, and that's still to this day a signature Kiss song. That's one of the songs they'll do all the time. And the song that I'm gonna pick is very, very, very cliche for Ace Frehley because it was the first time that he sang, is the song Shock Me. And I'm going to do that because of the solo in that song. It's amazing. That the solo in Shock Me is like a song in itself. And it's pretty much, if you listen to all the Kiss albums, listen to the guitar solos in the songs up to that. That solo is probably at least twice as long as any other solo on Kiss songs. Sonny, you probably have it timed out that you could probably give me the times for them. But the solo in that song is pretty much like a song in itself, and it's just you hear that, you hear Ace, and Kiss still, they have Tommy Thayer doing it, which some people wig out. That's an Ace song, blah blah blah. First and foremost, it's a Kiss song, but they did Shock Me on the acoustic set on the Sail Away show. And I gotta say, I was, I'm thinking, oh, here we go. They're gonna do Shock Me. But Tommy Thayer fucking killed that solo acoustic. It was great. Killed it in a good way. And
He just murdered it.
I know. But it was great. And it's I'm sorry, it's first and foremost, it's a Kiss song. And it's fantastic.
Ace is great. I like Bearded Ace as well. I think I Want to Hold You is probably one of his best songs of all time because that solo in that.
Which they don't play live.
Yeah, it's off of Space Invader.
Yeah, you get to hear Toys instead.
Yeah,
which
but
sucks.
that's a bad set list pick, and he's not the best at picking set lists.
No.
For the most part, because why would you pick Too Young to Die? That's not a good song for. But besides that, Ace is definitely an influential guitar player. I mean, you look at the people that he's had a hand in forming. Like Slash from Guns N' Roses cites Ace as a huge influence.
Dimebag.
Darryl.
He had an Ace tattoo on his leg.
Had an Ace tattoo. He's definitely a great guitar player, and despite the drugs and stuff that he's done, he can still play.
He does. He's playing very well these days.
He's still doing pretty well. So I definitely think he should be on that Mount Rushmore.
Ace. He started it all for me with Kiss when I was younger, and like you said, hey, bearded Ace. I think he looks better now than he has in like the last 10, 15 years. He plays Ace. He doesn't worry about what's going on around the world. He plays Ace really. Very unique.
True. Sonny.
Love Ace, but I love the hammered, confident Ace. So, and the perfect...
I do too.
The perfect recipe of hammered and confident Ace is his 78 solo album. So my favorite guitar solo is on Speeding Back to My Baby.
Good pick. BB.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about his solo album, but like BC touched on, Ace was the first heavy guitarist that I've heard. When I heard Double Platinum was my first 8-track. My cousin bought me, blew me out of the water. And, to this day, Ace brings it better now. Like BC said, now that he's somewhat cleaned up, not so much drug and alcohol Ace, but he really sounds fantastic now. Maybe not so much of the vocals, but his playing is really, really spot on now.
All right, cool. All right, Sonny, give me your next guy here. This is our final round for the main guys. Who do you got?
Every Mount Rushmore needs a black sheep. And my black sheep is from Reading, Pennsylvania, Richie Kotzen.
Oh.
Okay.
This guy's gotten a bad rap. He ended up marrying that chick he did, so, whatever. But this guy can
It worked out for him.
Yeah. Hall & Oates, Prince, Poison, Jazz, Mr. Big. You play fast, slow, funky, whatever you want to play, this guy can do it. He's been on over 40 albums. The guy does not get enough credit. My album pick is Peace Sign, which is from 2009. It's his 16th solo album. He plays all the instruments on the album except for 4 songs where he felt like he couldn't play the drums right, so he had somebody play drums on 4 of the songs. And the song that I'm going to pick is called Paying Dues, and it's kind of like got this kind of funk riff, and he's kind of riffing through the whole album. He plays all the instruments on this song, and he's got a bass solo in there, a drum solo in there, and then a guitar solo in there. And if you watch the video for Paying Dues, his daughter did the video like one weekend at their house, and he just makes it look easy. The guy plays without a pick.
It's just crazy.
Now, which is ridiculous. The guy's the man. He just doesn't get enough credit.
Awesome pick, Sonny. And you mentioned him playing without a pick. The first time we saw Winery Dogs, I'm sorry. BC and I and BB and one of our other buddies went to see them. And, it was when they had the first album out. Actually, I had seen the Winery Dogs. I was in Vegas, and they happened to be there, and I went to Club Vamped to see them. And I remember, texting these guys and telling them I got home, like, holy fuck. I'm like, I can't believe that he plays without a pick. He plays with his fingers. And just to hear the solos that he tears off and everything like that he definitely deserves a high spot there. Good call.
And you can hear the
Dylan.
fingers picking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richie Kotzen, you can't go wrong with him. His stuff with the Winery Dogs is just phenomenal. The fact that he could play those complex riffs and solos while singing is amazing. He's definitely a very, very underrated guitarist, I think. He doesn't get the credit he deserves. Yeah. And I'm glad that he's found his way onto somebody's Mount Rushmore.
That blows my mind. He's on 40 albums. I knew he played with Poison, and I knew he did some solo stuff. But to be on 40 albums, that's just testament to showing you what a kick-ass guitar player actually is. more underrated, because I would say not many people know who this guy is. Besides a very small circle of guys who know this genre of music.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. But 40 albums just blows my mind.
Yeah, you guys touched a little bit on everything. Here's a guy that I heard of, and then, like you said, he replaced CC DeVille and Poison, and now he's playing with the Winery Dogs and shit. And like, just to play what he plays without a pick is phenomenal.
Great pick, Sonny. Good job, buddy. Go ahead, BB.
All right, to end my Mount Zachmore is I'm going to pick the non-makeuped Vinnie Vincent.
Oh.
Okay. Crickets.
Man. The song I'm going to pick is going to be Boys Are Gonna Rock. The guitar solo, the way it starts off that album, it's almost probably at least 40 seconds long at least. It just blows my mind the way he opens up this album. My album is going to be Vinnie Vincent Invasion from 1986. Animal, Twisted, Back on the Streets. What I really like is he puts Invasion the last song, and that's probably one of the greatest the best songs on the album. Guitar solo wise, it's amazing. To put that on the very last song is it's ballsy.
But you get that like for the last 2 minutes of the album or something. It just goes on. You're like, is this good album gonna fucking end or what?
Oh, you didn't like that?
Huh? I do, but the first time I heard it, I'm like, is this ever gonna shut up? But very cool. BC, Vinnie Vincent.
Like I said,
Non-makeup Vinnie Vincent.
Non-makeup.
Non-makeup. I like non-makeup Vinny. I mean, not going back to makeup, when he first came to Kiss, I was like, oh my God, replace Ace Frehley? How can he do it? But I mean, look it up, and Vinnie Vincent Invasion, I think are great. And it's glad to see that he's alive and hopefully start doing some stuff.
Cool. Sonny.
Everything BB said was dead on, except for I would have replaced it with Ashes to Ashes as my favorite song.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Slaughter on vocals on that one.
Yep.
I'm going to say Vinnie Vincent, but I'm going to revert back to Vinnie Vincent with makeup for a second here. When he played on Creatures of the Night, it's one of those albums that, Kiss-wise, you really don't know who. It's still not really definitively stated, I don't think, who actually played on what on that album. And I think that the bombastic drum sound, I'm totally going off the reservation here. The bombastic drum sound on that, I think was great. But I also think it was a ploy to take away from people thinking, hey, that's not Ace Frehley playing guitar on this album. I'm just throwing that out there for the masses. Whatever you think, okay, but that's my thought on it.
The Kiss conspiracy theory.
But Vinnie Vincent Invasion, very cool. I don't think that there's enough stuff out there of Vinnie Vincent, non-makeup Vinnie Vincent out there. But the stuff that he has out there is cool. I do prefer the Invasion album over the second album. But there are some cool stuff on there. He's very unrestrained playing guitar on those two albums. A little more unrestrained on the first one than the second one. The second one's a little more melodic, I think. Yeah. But a lot of good songs on there. Dylan.
Did Vinnie Vincent make it on somebody's Mount Rushmore? You're damn right he did. He's good. I don't know if I would consider him Mount Rushmore worthy personally, but the songs that he did contribute and the albums he did, they're good. They're good. That's really all I could say about Vinny. I don't know.
Okay. Sonny, who you got? Oh, we did you, Sonny. I'm sorry. Dylan, go ahead since you're talking.
Okay, well, originally my George Washington was Joe Perry, but I decided to pull an audible. I feel like this guy could still be considered a founding father in a way.
This is going to be weird.
He was very influential on people. It's Richard Allen Nielsen.
The fuck is that?
Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick.
Rick Nielsen. Okay. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
See, the middle name threw me off.
How can you go wrong with Cheap Trick? The man, the myth, the legend. He's throwing picks at people, and he's likely going to kill somebody one of these days with that. His guitars. He has a guitar version of himself as a guitar.
True.
He has the 10-necked guitar?
5-neck guitar or something.
This guy's bombastic. He's crazy on stage. He's got such a good stage presence, and he is having a blast on stage. And
Still.
his guitar work is amazing. I think the album at Budokan, I think he really shines on it. Of course, that's what got them big.
That's their signature album.
And I have to go with Dream Police as a song for him on guitar. I love the solo that mimics the beginning of the chorus. It's a really cool sound, and I think his background vocals on that are really fun. I just think Rick Nielsen is a great guitarist, and he definitely has influenced a ton of people. Plus, he was on Foo Fighters' second latest album.
Again, when I was a little lad, Ace Frehley started it for me, but it was the band after Kiss that I really got into was Cheap Trick. And I have to agree with Dylan. I mean, here's a guy that you have to say is underrated, maybe because the band is not over the top.
Yeah.
But they're a steady, like, I believe Steve said, they could play any song. Hey, play this, and they would bust it out and
Absolutely
be phenomenal doing it.
Sonny, Rick Nielsen.
He's the craziest one on our list so far. That's for sure.
Well, it was an audible,
no,
Sonny.
he's got his own flavor. You can't deny the guy that. I love that. He's been in Cheap Trick so long, and Cheap Trick stayed together so long, and he's definitely got a unique sound. I would say my favorite Cheap Trick song, "She's Tight," but
It's a good one.
All right. Very good pick. Another classic guy from the '70s made the cut here, and I'm gonna throw out there my favorite song from these guys is "Woke Up with a Monster." Really cool song, and awesome pick, and that is our first round of Mount Rushmore of guitar players. Some picks.
did BC do his number
BC
4?
did not do his
Oh,
number
I
yet.
was wondering why he's waving to me over there. I picked it because it's going
I'm
to
not
be...
even in the room.
What happened?
I know. I was wondering why he's waving at me. That's why Dylan's going to edit that part
Good
out.
pick, BC.
Good pick, BC. What do you guys think?
Good job, yay! Way to go!
All right. I'm sorry, BC. Go ahead, buddy.
This guy got a lot of slack early in his career, but I think he came out shining in the end.
It's gonna be. I know exactly who you're thinking.
Mr. Dave Mustaine.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
I knew it.
Because he influences a lot of people, and I mean, he got bad rap very early in the day, but I mean, look at the band; he's still playing today.
It's true.
Album?
There's so many. Countdown to Extinction, I think, was a.
I'm sorry. Do you have a countdown to extinction tattoo?
No, I don't.
No, he does not.
Not yet.
You have a
It's Rust
Rust
in
in
Peace.
Peace
Rest in
tattoo.
peace. So I
sorry.
mean, it was. There's so many of them I could pick, but I mean, I don't know. What do you think, BB?
No, you can't. Did you pick a song?
Oh.
For Closure of a Dream.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it. There's so many.
There's so many.
How do you
No.
pick just ones?
Yeah, like the guy's throwing out
I'm
of
not saying I
Metallica.
like them all, but I'm just saying.
Like this guy's throwing out of Metallica. How can you not?
Here's a guy that he got thrown out of a band that became huge. Like,
Exactly.
Devastating anybody.
Throw it out of a band called Alcoholica.
For
drinking.
For drinking.
For drinking.
That's
and-
like Steven Adler
Steven
getting
Adler
thrown out
for
of
Guns N' Roses for doing drugs.
For drugs.
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah, they're starting his own band. And,
he started his own band and coming back and look where they are
I
today.
just want my friend
Exactly.
Lars back.
That's
One
it.
Mars back.
It's a great pick, and his playing is great, and then he's got to sing on top of it. So, good job, good pick.
All right. Sonny, Dave Mustaine.
Again, Bay Area, so Mustaine is loved out here, even though he got kicked out of Metallica. I just never thought, Megadeth was never as big as Metallica was, but I would say my favorite album is Peace Sells.
Okay. Cool. Dylan.
I love Dave Mustaine. I love Megadeth. I think he's like Ted Nugent, and he needs to keep his mouth shut sometimes. But I think his playing is phenomenal. I personally love Tornado of Souls. That is a great song. Also, I just had it in my head. Head Crusher, like from later era of Megadeth, is also a really cool song. Has the thrash, and then it has the cool jammy parts to it. He's good. He's very underrated. And hey, he's kept the band going pretty steadily, despite that. There's that one period where he was not doing Megadeth in like late '90s, early 2000s. But besides that, he's kept it consistent. And like you always say in the Metallica versus Megadeth argument, he's been more consistent with album releases than Metallica has. So you have to
Absolutely.
give it up for that.
Yeah. I agree with BC. Great player. Although the album I would pick would definitely be Risk.
Oh my
Of
god!
course, it's the best album.
No, just kidding. Great player, and the obvious pick, for most people out there would be Rust in Peace. But what'd you pick? Countdown Station. I'm sorry.
To me, that was
For some reason, I'm thinking euthanasia because I can see the little kids on the
kids on the
clothesline.
clothesline.
No, it's the guy that's.
But and great, and I will throw it out there again on their latest album, Dystopia. The song "The Thread Is Real." Listen to the. Don't even listen to the solo. Listen to the riff in the middle of that song during the solo. It's just absolutely fucking amazing. Good pick. Sorry, BC, for trying to bone you out of your last pick there. And with that, we completed our first Mount Rushmore. Now we're gonna get into some really cool shit. But before we do that, we're gonna go right into our hidden gems. And our hidden gems are going to start out today with BC.
Oh God, I'm just gonna go with the band Bombay Black.
Oh.
Which they have been quietly.
Really?
Which I don't know.
They've gone black.
They've gone into the black, but check them out. I mean, they have I believe 3 studio and 1 live album. We picked them up from back in the day, going to the Kiss Expos, and they played a few years, right?
Yeah.
And here's just they're not over the top like Steel Panther, but some of their songs
They had your song, didn't they?
They had tons of my
Like
theme songs.
Psycho Girlfriend or something?
Psycho Bitch, girl, something like that. And songs about
your theme song for
songs
a while,
about drinking and forgetting what you're doing, and Psycho Women. So I mean, I instantly
not as present girlfriend. I'm gonna say that.
Well, no, it's because BC's a psycho woman.
I retired from the Psycho Women.
Cool.
I got 2 of them.
Awesome. Sonny, what do you got for a hidden gem this week?
From you guys remember the movie Rockstar?
Yep, we do.
Absolutely.
Near the tail end, after it's probably about 30 minutes, 20 minutes left in the movie. Marky Mark wants to write songs, and the guitar player says, "You can't write songs." So he gets in this booth and he starts doing this song. The sound's pretty cool, but he ends up doing this like stupid Marky Mark Funky Bunch rap thing, and then they stop, right? And then they stop. And
That's
then
not how it's written.
again.
Play it the way it's written.
Yeah, right. Well, that song is called Reckless, and it's actually done by Kane Roberts.
Kane Roberts.
That song is awesome, and it's hard to find because it was originally on an album called Under a Wild Sky from a band called Phoenix Down, which was Kane Roberts' band after Alice Cooper. He just re-released it about 5 years ago on a two-disc reissue called Unsung Radio, and it's under the Kane Roberts name, and Reckless is the first track. So if you have not heard this song, it didn't make it on the Rockstar soundtrack.
No, it's not on there.
I'm not exactly sure why, but it's probably one of the better songs in the movie.
It's great. And Sonny, we were talking about doing this episode last week. Sonny texted me, "Have you heard the new Kane Roberts song?" And I texted Sonny back. I said, "Is he still active?" I didn't know he was putting anything out.
Does he still look like Rambo?
He's still pretty big. He's still pretty buff.
Yeah.
And then so I checked it out, and I texted Sonny. I'm like, "Holy shit, that's the song from Rockstar." And he said, "Well, that's going to be my pick." And I said, "Well, check out the whole," because I listened to the whole album. The whole album is really good. Sonny, awesome pick. So Kane Roberts, Reckless from Unsung Radio. BB.
My pick this week is going to be a band. They're called Cacophony. They were formed in 1986 by guitarist Marty Freeman and Jason Becker before they went off on their own with Megadeth and David Lee Roth. They released 2 albums. In 1987, it was Speed Metal Sympathy. In 1988, it was Go Off. Most of it was just guitar riffs, a lot of instrumental stuff, but there were some songs that had some vocals in it. Peter Moreno was the singer in the band. I figured today would be with the Mount Rushmore guys. This band, very under the radar guitar riff guys. The way they put these 2 albums out was a perfect fit. So
Awesome.
Cacophony.
Check it out. Dylan, what do you got?
You know who the drummer was in that band?
No?
Nope.
Dean Castronovo.
Really? They should have had him sing. That dude's got a voice. I don't know if anybody out there has heard him sing. He got pipes. Cool. We did not know that.
No.
Awesome. Dylan.
So my band, I literally just discovered today. I was looking through iTunes new music in the metal section, and I came across a really cool album cover. The band is a Swedish thrash metal band that they have a really big like horror vibe to them. They like a lot of their songs are based off of like 80s horror movies. They're called FKU with an umlaut above it, which I'm assuming they pronounce it "fuck you." You know,
we can't put this on the show.
But I'll just say FKU. Their new album 1981, I gave it a listen to today, and it's phenomenal. They have songs like Friday the 13th Part 2, which, if anybody doesn't know, it's the Friday the 13th that first had Jason Voorhees, but he didn't have the hockey mask. He had a bag over his head. So they captured the...
BC's been with a couple with a bag over their heads.
Halloween 2.
He was a Saints fan.
There's a song called Evil
Sorry,
Dead,
Casey.
which Evil Dead is a great
Cool
series.
movie, yeah.
But they have a really cool vibe to them. A lot of their, like the album cover looks like an old 1980s horror movie cover. And like there's a hand coming out with a knife. And there's a bunch of VHS tapes surrounding this grave that says the 1981 on it. And it's a really cool album. So check out 1981 by FKU with an umlaut. They're from Sweden.
All right.
So
We will definitely have to take your word for that one. My pick is what Dylan would probably call off format. It's actually it's a YouTube video, and it's of a song, and it's from a song by the band Chicago. It's called 25 or 6 to 4, and the band is called Leonid and Friends. And anyone that's ever listened to the show knows that I love in the studio stuff and watching musicians in the studio. This is amazing, and it's definitely got to be the most, in quotations, rocking song that the band Chicago has. It's the one that da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. Check this video out. It is amazing. The guys are singing spot on. It has all the guys doing the horns and the drums and everything. It's amazing. It's Leonid and Friends, 25 or 6 to 4. It's amazing. I will definitely post it. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I've probably posted it 10 times already. I will put it up there again. It is a very, very cool version. Right? And there's our gems. We have 25 or 6 to 4 by me, Bombay Black from BC, Cacophony from BB, Kane Roberts from Sonny, and FKU with umlauts, 1981 from Dylan. All right? So I got that one. So we're going to go right into the under the radar Mount Rushmore guys, and we're going to do right around the table here. Start with Dylan.
Okay, my first Mount Rushmore guy was mentioned in the main Mount Rushmore. It's John Petrucci. I think he's an amazing guitarist, very underrated. The album, I also picked Train of Thought for an album for him because that's just such a heavy album. But also Octavarium, I think, is a great album that showcases him. But the song I picked is from Systematic Chaos. It's Constant Motion. It's a really cool song. It has a lot of different time changes like any Dream Theater song does. But it's also really listenable. Like, it's a song you can just put on and jam out to. It has some really cool like riffage and a lot of awesome solos. And I think it's a really good testament to John Petrucci's different styles of playing.
Okay, very cool. If it's someone that we already talked about, we'll just move on to the next guy. We're going around the horn here, so the next one will be the speaker that Sonny's on is in between BC and Dylan, so we'll go with Sonny next.
All right, so I'm going to go with somebody who is probably in the dictionary underrated guitarist. Doesn't use much whammy, hardly ever taps, great blues, gritty riffs, great guitar tone, cares about keeping it right because plays it note for note live, and that is Dave Meniketti from Oakland, California, babies.
Oh, Dave, baby. Yep.
Wow.
He is the man. And, if you think about it, he doesn't do a lot of fancy stuff. Like, he does what he does, and he does it great. And the only thing that I saw him do first that I never saw anybody else do except for Ace was that whole pickup selector switch, right? That he turns it off on, just to get that sound a little bit. I guess that was technically his tapping.
Yeah, kind of what Ace does on Kiss Alive going into Cold Gin.
Yeah. The album I picked was their fourth studio album, Black Tiger, and came out in '82, and the song I picked was Open Fire.
Awesome, great pick. We haven't talked about Dave yet. We'll go around the table real quick. BC.
All you gotta say is Y&T, baby. I mean, this guy just wins at every show. I mean, he's phenomenal in my book.
you gotta go. It's got to be tough, singing and playing guitar. It's a God-given gift.
Not only playing
the way
rhythm
Dave
guitar,
plays,
but solo.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
He does
Right.
everything.
Like, he does it all, but it's a really good pick because see, that's pretty good because now we're into that underrated guy, and Manichetti is definitely underrated.
Yep. And I'm gonna jump in next. Dave Manichetti is one of my picks, so I'm gonna go right on. I'm gonna piggyback right on Sonny here. I'm gonna go album wise. I'm gonna go Down for the Count, which I think is it's more of a mainstream album that those guys have, mid '80s, but excellent songs on there. And my song pick for them is going to be I Believe in You, which is a slower song, which, I'm not a ballad guys. Everyone listening to the show knows that. But when we saw Y&T at BB King's and at M3, just the solo that he tears off in I Believe in You was just like so kick ass. Done.
Like you said, when we saw them at BB King's, they were freaking phenomenal, and Dave is just an amazing just lead man. He does it all, and his playing is just so flawless. And that was an amazing show. And his stuff with the Y&T is just it stands the test of time.
Awesome.
And of course, Sonny would pick another Bay Area person, but
Sonny's is the Bay Area Mount Rushmore. It's going to be overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. All right, cool, awesome. Two good picks, myself and Sonny. Same train of thought there. What do we got? BC.
All right, we're gonna get away from the West Coast and come back over to the East Coast because we need some East Coast love. We're going up to Massachusetts for this next guy, Gary Hoey.
Gary Hoey.
Oh,
I mean, here's a guy. Here's a guy that can rip it up. I mean, play blues. Again, can play all these styles, and I think he has at least 20 CDs up.
Probably between blues
Plus,
albums.
he was in a band with Frankie Bannon from Quiet Riot, Heavy Bones.
All right,
I mean, here's a guy. I guess my book rips it up.
cool. Sonny, Gary Hoey, you familiar with him at all?
I don't really know him. I don't think I've heard one song by this guy, but I
Have you heard the Lita Ford album, "Living Like a Runaway"? Is it?
Just a couple songs.
Her last studio. Gary Hoey's the guitar player on that album.
Pick up
Oh, he is. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Animal Instinct. I mean, there's so many of them
Yeah,
out there.
he's really good. Good call, BC. BB, anything out of Gary Hoey?
Yeah, we saw him at when we were.
He played an M3.
M3 with Lita. We saw him
With
when we went to that metal show, and
Oh yeah, that's right.
He
We,
tore it up at the metal show.
Actually, I have one of his picks from that. I forgot about that.
And we saw him at one of our darkest days. He was one of
Oh
the
yeah, he was on the Guitar Gods
He was
tour.
one of
I
the
forgot
bright
about
spots.
because Zigbe played for 10 hours.
He was one of the bright spots of that night, but his playing is phenomenal. Like, he's a
was.
great guitarist.
Awesome pick, BC. BB.
My pick, I'm gonna go with Nuno Battencourt from the Extreme family. Even though he's born in Portugal,
I'll allow it.
the man that I
Boston
text
band, baby.
just to make sure it's okay.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah, another underrated. You ask anybody on the street who's the guitarist for Extreme, and they don't even have a clue.
Well, first they'll say who's Extreme.
Yeah. Oh, the More Than Words. Yeah.
Oh, those guys. Yeah.
My song is "Mother, I Don't Want to Go to School Today." Great riff in the beginning. In the middle, it kind of carries through it. My album is going to be the Extreme self-titled album from 1989. Other great riffs are "Little Girls" on that, "Kid Eagle," "Teacher's Pet," "Play With Me." Like definitely a worthy spot on the underrated Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm gonna say Extreme was on the Kiss Cruise, and Nuno, absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, no offense to any other guitar player that was on that ship, he was definitely the most talented guitar player on the Kiss Cruise. Amazing guitar player, and I'm just leave it at that.
Did you see him play the with Steel Panther?
I seen the video. We didn't make
Oh,
that show. We were
okay.
otherwise engaged at that time.
Drinking.
But he played drums.
He played drums
with Steel Panther,
with Steel
playing
Panther.
Hot for Teacher. Which he was no slouch on the drums either, but stick with the guitar. Sonny.
Love Nuno. Porno Graffiti's one of my Desert Island albums. Decadent Dance would be the song I pick, and I think he's the Jimmy Page of Portugal. That's why he didn't make my list.
Okay. Dylan.
I first heard the song "Play with Me" on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure during the mall chase scene. And I remember watching that scene and being like, holy fuck, what is that guitar playing? Because that is some of the best guitar playing I've ever heard in my life. And then I played it on Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s, and I was like, my God, because that was like the free bird of Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s. And,
Freebird.
And it blew me, and I'm like, oh, it's this band Extreme, and New Betancourt, his guitar playing is so fluid, and it almost borders on classical music with how complex and structured it is, and I think it's just an amazing. And he's playful with the guitar parts too. In Play With Me, like he'll do a lot of like the different like homages to like old kids, like nursery rhymes or whatever. Yeah. And he's just such a good guitar player. So I think he definitely is underrated in that respect.
Awesome. BC.
Definitely underrated. I mean,
it's underrated.
Okay,
It's underrated.
All right. There you have it.
Hey,
underrated, damn it.
BC, underrated.
Underrated Mount
All right.
Rushmore.
See, that's what we're here about.
That's right.
BC, since you're talking so much, who's your
such a
next
great
guy?
We're going to Virginia. We're going to come up with Bill Leverty from Firehouse fame.
Ooh. Bill Leverty, by the way, shares the same birthday with me.
There you go. But here's a guy, I mean, you don't hear much about him because, unfortunately, he's in a band that, unfortunately,
Is known for ballads.
known for ballads and not rockers like these guys. And this band can rip it up. To me, the album would be Firehouse. It's 3, the number 3. And anything off that album is just phenomenal playing from him.
All right, cool. Sonny.
Love Firehouse. Love Bill. My favorite house song is Get Touch.
BB, I know you're a big, you're a Firehouse guy.
Lover's Lane, baby.
I knew you were going to say that.
Another great tune, but just after saying his name, you just put a little light bulb in my head. I'm gonna save that for down the road.
Great pick, Bill Leverty. Like I said, he's a dude that shares his birthday with me.
That's why he deserves.
Number one, you can't get any better than that. All right.
Now, which birthday is it?
My original birthday, not my summer birthday, my
Okay.
original
Not the
birthday.
summer birthday.
That rock of shit.
And I mean, just songs like All She Wrote, Rock on the Radio, great stuff. Very underrated guitar player. Good pick, BC. BB, who's your next pick?
My next pick, the underrated Mount Rushmore, is Doug Aldridge.
Okay. Yes.
Bearded or unbearded?
Unshirted. I think every time I see him, he's got no shirt on, but
Naked Doug.
yeah. How can you go wrong? The guy's been in Lion, he's been in Dio, he's been in Burning Rain, Revolution Saints, what's the new one? The Dead Daisies.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's all over the place. I'd love to know how many CDs he's on, because he's probably on a bazillion. He's probably on, like Sonny said, he's probably on Richie Cox, and he's like 40.
He's all over the place.
He's 40, because he is, like BC, all over the place.
Do you have those totals, Sonny?
I don't, but I can get him real quick because I'm going to talk about him too.
Okay.
I count.
Oh, is he one of your guys?
He's one of my guys.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Give us your things for him. Oh, I'm sorry, BB. Give us your album and your song.
My song is "Love Will Set You Free" off the 2011 CD "Forevermore." I love that CD. I picked it as the album. "Steal Your Heart Away," "All Out of Luck," and another great riff solo song on that album, "Dogs in the Street." This guy has just an amazing sounding tone to him. I mean, it seems like when I hear him, I know it's Doug Aldridge because he just has that unique sound. In the days he did with the Dio live albums, it just blows my mind.
So I count 102 albums that he appears on.
Fuck.
From like tribute albums and like the
Right.
bands he's been in and like songs he's just.
Wow.
So it's a man that has a storied career to be sure.
Wow.
Sonny, what do you got for him?
The song I'm going to pick is off the new album. And if you haven't heard the new Revolution Saints album, you want to listen to a song called Ride On, go straight to 2:11 and then listen to 53 seconds of just bliss. And you will be a Doug fan forever.
I'm sorry, I want the milliseconds on that. When was that?
Awesome pick. Any Doug Aldrich, Dylan?
I mean, the man that has this many albums under his wing, you can't go wrong with them. I think he's great in Whitesnake. I think he pulls it off really well. But you just can't fault the man for being so all over the place. Like, he wasn't on Dio's best stuff, but the stuff that he's on, I think he shines.
On like a couple live ones, I think, right?
Yeah, he's on Killing the Dragon for Studio, but then he's on like Evil or Divine, Holy Diver Live, Electra, which was a single. Yeah, so I mean he's all over the place, and his stuff with the Dead Daisies is great. I think he's definitely underrated.
Oh, Doug Aldrich, definitely underrated guy. I mean, first band I heard him with was Lion, which is in the movie The Rat, which is a great movie too. But here's a guy, like you said, he's all over the place. Phenomenal.
We've been listening to Doug Aldrich since Burning Rain was out. Phenomenal player. I saw him on the Kiss Cruise last 2016 Kiss Cruise 7. And, Kiss Cruise 6 with the Dead Daisies. Phenomenal player. One of the songs I love the song on the newest Burning Rain album. It's called Pray Out Loud. Listen to that song. He just absolutely tears it up on that. Good pick, BB. Good pick, Sonny. Awesome. We will move on. Dylan, what do you got next?
So my next guy, you would say that he's not on format, but iTunes says that the albums that he's on are considered rock. So I'm going with Chris Shiflett from Foo Fighters, because that's what rock and roll is nowadays. The album that I have him shining on is Wasting Light. That was definitely, I think, their best album, and his guitar work on it is amazing, especially on the song Rope. If you listen to the solo, I don't have the time code for it, but if you listen to the solo in that song, it's such a blistering solo for a band that is, according to my dad, alternative. He's
not on format.
He's a very underrated guitarist because I think he's always overlooked by, you see Dave Grohl in the band and you see Taylor Hawkins on drums and you're like, oh, these guys are amazing. But Chris Shiflett, I think, really holds it together with the lead guitar, especially in a band with 3 guitarists. He definitely shines.
All right. I won't go around the horn. I will say, does anybody have anything to say on Chris Shiflett? Crickets.
I'm a fan of the Foo Fighters.
I'm not saying I'm not a fan, but I don't believe he warrants a spot on the mountain.
I'm sorry, he does.
Okay.
See, that's like my Vinnie Vincent. You got the Crickets, so I got the Crickets.
Yeah, like that. I think the Crickets are exactly the reason why he should be on the underrated guitarist, because you don't always think, oh, Foo Fighters for like an amazing guitar band.
Right,
no, you don't. You don't ever think amazing guitar players.
Listen, I put you the solo to Rope, and were you not impressed by that?
It was good. It was good. I don't deny it.
And you saw them live.
It was good, and they were great live. They're my top 5 concerts. I do agree, but I didn't come out of there saying, oh my God, their guitar player was amazing.
Well, it's because
just an amazing show.
They're an ensemble band, and
this is our own Mount Rushmore.
Your pick is your pick.
Listen, he had Zakk Wylde twice on his
Mount Rushmore. All right. I'm gonna go next so that we don't have 2 Crickets in a row.
Oh wow.
All right. This guy probably should have been on the main.
And nobody responded.
On the main Mount Rushmore. This guy's name is Neil Schon.
Yeah.
From Journey.
Okay, that is a good one. Damn.
See? No Crickets there. Damn it. Amazing, underrated guitar player. And the album that I'm going to pick is not going to be Escape. Okay? It's going to be an album. It's going to be Trial by Fire. They put it out in, I believe it was 1998. It is an absolutely fucking amazing Journey album. It's, I believe, the only album that even comes close to Escape and Frontiers. And if you guys have not checked it out, check it out. 2 songs that I'm going to put out there that really showcase Neil Schon. And once again, it's I don't believe this song is on any Journey album. It's a song that they did when they did the DVD in 2001 in Las Vegas. And the song is called Fillmore Boogie. It's an instrumental song, and the band just absolutely friggin' tears it up on this song. Fillmore Boogie, Neil Schon, Trial by Fire. All right, and go BB. BB is cricketing on Neil Schon. I may have to ask you to leave.
I got nothing on Journey. They were never in my wheelhouse.
BC.
I mean, Neil Schon, here we go. I mean, like, I follow him on Facebook currently nowadays. He's always doing some kind of gig with someone. And just
Started out in Santana.
Santana, here we go. When he was what?
Like 17 or something.
He was 16,
I don't even
17?
think the guy graduated high school.
I don't think he did neither. But
Sonny, he's another San Francisco guy.
come on, man.
Yes, he is.
Very underrated.
What do you got for Neil Schon, Sonny? Anything?
Super underrated. The guy's been on tons of stuff. I love all this stuff with Bad English, Hardline.
Good. Oh, yeah,
Hardline.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Oh, I forgot.
All right, Dylan.
I mean, I like Journey. It's really cliche of me to say, but Separate Ways is still one of my favorite songs of all time.
That's
Because I
still a good
love like the keyboard start out and then the like that is such an awesome like in the face intro to a song, and the solos in it are really good. And I think Neil Schon shines and shone on that song.
All right.
I think he's good, and I'm begrudgingly with you on this.
All right. See that? All right. I'm going to go with Mr. Naysayer, BB, for the next one.
All right.
I want him to top Neil Schon. Come on. Bring it.
Okay. Then I will go with Steve Lynch
Dude.
from Autograph.
Is he his brother?
No, he's not.
His cousin.
And I pick him because in 1984, Autograph opened up for Van.
I saw them.
And
One of the few shows that they played on.
exactly, because they were kicked off the tour because Mr. Lynch would do too much of the bridge tapping that was supposed to be Eddie's signature. So anybody who's kicked off a Van Halen tour because you're kicking ass on a guitar has to make the underrated Mount Rushmore. For my song for Mr. Lynch is going to be She's a Tease.
Not Turn Up the Radio.
No, definitely not Turn Up the Radio.
It is a good song.
Definitely not.
That's a gift that I don't hear.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause that's probably one of the only songs they actually play of this band, which is a sin.
Yes.
Their album I picked is Loud and Clear, 1987. Some of the great tunes on there: Dance All Night, Every Time I Dream, Mount Rushmore worthy for being kicked off the Van Halen tour. That's
Tell you,
definitely.
All right. BC. Steve Lynch.
Steve Lynch, come on, Blondes and Black Cars.
Oh yeah.
I mean, here's a guy that just, again, underrated, and the band kind of gets labeled with the one song, Turn Up the Radio, which,
Right.
I'm sorry, probably one of their least talented songs, I think. I don't know. Compared to
Yeah,
all the other ones out there.
that's what's so heartbreaking. You go through their catalog and what a great,
And they just came out with the
and
new
they only have
album.
one song. Like, really? They only made one song?
Minor Hits.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Dylan. Steve Lynch.
I think Autograph's a great band. I'm glad that I got to see them at M3, and Steve Lynch kicks ass, I think.
All right. Sonny.
Steve Lynch is in the wrong band. Like, if he was in one of the shredding bands, you'd know him. He had been way more popular, but thanks to Turn Up the Radio, he got screwed. But I think
point,
the best song on that album is actually 19 and Nonstop.
Yeah.
Very good pick. Very, very good pick. And I'm with Sonny on that. He's definitely in the wrong band. But their music is good, though. You can't deny Autograph is a great band. And I personally like My Girlfriend's Boyfriend Isn't Me. And
Yes.
He was bringing it up.
good call. I know. And BC, who do you got next?
I'm going to keep it on the East Coast part of the United States because, again, I'm staying away from the West Coast guys. I'm going to go with the guy from Louisiana, Steve Blaze, from the band Lillian X.
Wow.
Not only a great guitar player, but an awesome songwriter, too. And early next year, new Lillian X coming out. Check it out, people.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
BB, anything on Lily Next?
Another guitarist that is under the radar, another great band that never really gets the credit they deserve. And it's horrible. Like bands in a row that they don't get the credit they deserve.
Sonny, anything on Lillian X?
I just know the hits. I don't know a ton about Lillian Axe. Somehow, with the music that I'm into, that we're all into, I just lost in the mix somehow. And they came out in '88, so I don't know how I lost them in the mix.
Check out
Schizophrenia.
I believe it came out 91? 92, I'm sorry.
Schizophrenia.
Yeah, check that one out. That is
Excellent.
phenomenal.
Yeah, Crucified, Deep Freeze,
Oh, yeah.
Moonlight in Your Blood, which is a cover song, which is actually a very good good cover of that. So good pick. Who we got next? Sonny, what do you got next for us?
All right, so if I was to tell you that there's a super group out there that put an album out, and here are the members: Russell Allen, Jeff Scott Soto, Tony Franklin, Vinny Appice, Derek Sherinian. Did you know that there's a guitar player in there, and that super group was surrounded by Joel Hoekstra?
Oh, for
Whitesnake.
For
You guys know that?
13. For Joel's album?
For Joel Hoekstra's 13, yeah.
13, yeah.
That was the lineup of that band.
That's phenomenal. That's great. That was
crazy.
That was one of my picks on one of our shows, I think, was Joel Hoekstra's album.
One of the hidden gems.
It
Yeah.
was.
I think it was hitting Jim.
It was a hidden gem, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Continue.
and,
Go ahead.
You know, you get the best of Vi and Yngwie, in my opinion. All the songs are written by Joel, and it's Dying to Live, and the song I'm going to pick is Anymore. But when you listen to all the songs, there's not a single solo over 30 seconds. Like, the guy just does not he doesn't overdo it. But, I mean, he can play speed, he can play funk. He was born in 70. My guess is, if he's born in like 63, 64, this guy would have been a shredder.
He would have been up there
in the 80s that everybody would have known.
Absolutely. And actually, Sonny, he was the hidden gem that I picked on the show you were on when we did the Kiss show.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. No, but
I didn't know.
awesome
Yeah.
pick. Joel just played with TSO yesterday when we were recording this show. 40 miles from us. Phenomenal player.
Oh,
Awesome
that's
pick.
cool.
And he was great in Night Ranger.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what I was gonna say. He just played down the road, and and even his recent stuff in Whitesnake is really good too.
Good. Excellent pick.
Yeah.
BC Joel Hoekstra.
What you say, phenomenal, man. Like you said, Night Ranger. Night Ranger, I mean, I thought he was kind of downplayed in Night Ranger, but in Whitesnake, and I mean, the solo album
gets
is great
around.
too. He gets around. He's around everything. Like you said, Trans-Siberian.
Definitely. Great pick, Sonny. Dylan, what do you got next?
Well, speaking of Night Ranger, pick is Brett Gillis.
Awesome pick.
Awesome.
I was wondering when he was gonna pop up.
I was
figured
really nervous.
somebody would have had him.
I thought somebody was going to have him in the main Mount Rushmore, but I'm glad I got to bring him up first. He's a phenomenal player. He's a man that looks like he has a blast on stage.
He does.
Every time we see Night Ranger, he brings it. The album that I think gets his guitar playing up front, Midnight Madness. It's a good. You know what, BC? I don't like your sass.
BC's making hand motions to Dylan.
The song that I think really that I really like that his playing is phenomenal on is "Don't Tell Me You Love Me" off of Down Patrol. Yeah. I think that they should close their main set with that song because it's such a blistering, freaking it has such a good build up, and then the ending is such strong and just powerful ending. It's an amazing song to introduce a band with.
It is, and that if you guys listen to this show the day that it comes out, we will be seeing Night Ranger that evening. Myself, BC, BB, and our respected girlfriends will be there. They will be playing with Loverboy at the Kirby Center.
I was not invited.
Dylan was not invited. And we'll be in the 7th row rocking out to Night Ranger and Loverboy.
Although I am happy that I won't be seeing Loverboy because they were not great at M3.
They were not great at it.
And maybe they're getting better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, hopefully they can redeem themselves.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
hope so.
M3 was
I hope
the
so.
plateau for them.
No,
Yeah.
that wasn't the platform.
Yeah. Sonny, Brad Gillis.
It takes unbelievable balls to leave Ozzy to go do your own thing. They got it worked out for him.
It does.
And, it's a West Coast band. West Coast band, so dropping the mic. What can I say?
There we go. All right, we will go on to BC. What's your last pick here?
I was torn between this one. I'm gonna go
Is this
with.
last pick?
This is my last pick. Yes. I'm gonna go with Steve Brown from Trix.
Wow, Trickster, huh?
All right.
I mean, I want to hear album, and I mean, here's a guy that came out as a kid and thrown into stardom, and then he got asked to play with Def Leppard when Vivian Campbell was ill,
Right.
with cancer. I mean, so I mean,
Right, but what's your song there, kid?
Rockin' Horse off of here.
Oh,
Off of here. Here was one of my hidden gems also.
See?
Great player. I will throw it out there. He was awesome player. And actually, Steve Brown is the only American to ever play in Def Leppard.
Yep.
He replaced
Vivian
Campbell when he was out getting chemo.
I don't know a ton about Trickster. I just know the hits. I've never heard Steve Brown with anybody else, but I gotta say that if Def Leppard is gonna pick him to be the replacement, the guy can't suck. That's for sure.
Oh no.
No, he's a really good pick. Another underrated guy. Trickster, another underrated band. All these guitar players don't get enough credit. And coming from these underrated bands that have like one hit.
They came out at the wrong time, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with this guy's been in a couple bands. Okay. Mr. Reb Beach.
Yeah.
Extremely underrated guy. Original guitar player and winger. Actually, the only guitar player and winger. But
Winger.
they their keyboard player plays rhythm guitar once in a while. But and also the guitar player in Whitesnake, and also he was in Dokken for a while. And the album that I'm going to put him on the most here is Dokken Live Under the Sun. And I am going to pick two songs actually for him, since he was in so many different bands. Walking in the Shadow of the Blues from the Whitesnake Live album, and also Too High to Fly on Dokken Live Under the Sun.
Oof. He was also on Alice Cooper's Fistful of Alice live album.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Reb Beach, seriously, if you just want to see how he just like totally kicks ass, pull up Dokken Too High to Fly Live Under the Sun. That's all I'm gonna say. Reb Beach, BC.
He was on Wayne's World too.
Was it?
He was in the backing band in Alice in Wayne's World too.
Okay.
So he was
Yeah,
in that
yes,
the best
yes,
scene
yes.
in the movie.
Very, very underrated. I mean, that's why I'm going to leave it as. Very underrated guy. I mean, I think he gets into bands where he's not the main guy.
Right. A little behind the
All right.
shadow.
Behind-
BB.
I have to back you up because he was my number 4 guy. My song was from the Dokken album in 1999, Erase the Slate.
Yeah.
That song just blows my mind the way he plays guitar on that song.
That is great. It's a song that just gets faster at
Just
the end.
keeps
That is
going.
awesome.
It keeps going and going and going. It's like a roller coaster.
Cool.
The album, but I went with Winger's self-titled album. Even though there's some slower songs on Madeleine and Hanging On, there's some good tunes that he rips it up on. Without the Night and Time to Surrender,
Say
are probably two of the high points of that album. But another one, you can name the band, can't name the guitar player.
I can.
Well, most of us, most of the ones who listen to the podcast may be able to, but
Sonny, Reb Beach.
Love him. Him plus Doug Aldrich. That's the best Whitesnake duo I've ever seen live.
that's icing on the cake. That's easy. That's the greatest line of the night because they are both phenomenal.
Yeah.
BC.
Phenomenal guy. I mean, going back to the first album he was on with Winter, I'm gonna go with the slow, the Headed for a Heartbreak. I mean, just the in.
Oh yeah, he really tears it up at the end
He
of that
tears
song.
it up at the end of that song. I think.
Definitely.
Especially when they do it live.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
cool. Dylan, what do you got? Your last guy.
So my last guy is a guitarist that is no longer actually playing guitar. He's now a watchmaker. It's Dan Spitz from Anthrax.
Okay.
I think he's a very underrated guitarist. He's often forgotten in the tomes of Anthrax nowadays because you think Rob Caggiano and then the new guy whose name I can't think
Whoever
of,
he is.
ironically. But I think Among the Living, he's phenomenal on. That was their breakthrough album, I would say. But the song that I would peg is Be All End All from State of Euphoria.
right.
I think that's an amazing song, and his guitar playing on it is really, really good.
Cool. Sonny, you got any Anthrax love for us?
I like the original Anthrax, so Dan's my guy.
All right.
New York City, baby.
BC? East Coast.
East Coast again. We keep coming back, mother. Dan Smith, original Anthrax, like you said, spreading the disease.
I like keeping the family.
Keep it in the family.
Keeping the family.
BB?
Yeah, keeping the family, and spreading the disease, and Mr. Kennedy, and really starting off. What a great guitar player that he was.
Cool. Sonny, who are you wrapping it up with?
So I'm going to wrap it up with a guy that said his top 4 guitarists of all time are Eddie Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix, Steve Vai, and Yngwie Malmsteen, and that is Mr. John Five.
John.
Yeah, 5, yeah.
Yeah.
A.K.A. John
Right?
Lowry.
He's been in Zombie, Manson.
But like, even if you listen to the zombie songs, there's not a lot of guitar solos in those songs. But the ones that there are friggin' great.
Yeah. And I'm not a big instrumental album guy, but I will tell you, John's are really good because he does a good job of. He has this knack of playing the vocal melody with the guitar part.
Right.
So I picked the album. It is the 6th solo album in 2012. God Told Me To, and the song I'm going to pick is "The Hill of the Seven Jackals." But he's also got a copy of "Beat It" on that same album. So
That's
it's a really
very
good
good.
album. God Told Me To.
Yeah, because he does do the vocal harmony on guitar for "Beat It."
And actually,
Yeah.
he just released a cover of Enter Sandman, I think, was one of his
Yeah.
recent things.
Yes.
Because he's doing this thing where he's
Yeah.
not releasing an album, but he's releasing a bunch of singles.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is seemingly where the industry's going, unfortunately. But, I mean, I'm glad that he's still finding work because he's an amazing guitarist. And I think he's got a lot of personality in his playing.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. He has his own style, and the way he plays with Zombie is amazing. Definitely noteworthy of underrated. That's for sure.
Good pick, BC.
What more can you say that hasn't been said already by you guys?
All right.
Phenomenal guy and very distinct.
Awesome. So I'm gonna my last guy is going to be Warren DeMartini.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many.
And the album I'm going to pick from him is going to be the self-titled Rat album. And the song is going to be Lovesick. And that's the one album that he's the sole guitar player on. And absolutely amazing. Listen to this song, Lovesick. I will post it. It is kick-ass. Warren DeMartini, what do you got, Sonny?
Love DeMartini, but nothing touches anything except for Out of the Cellar. That is one of my Desert Island albums.
All right, awesome. That's our things. What I'm not gonna read through them all because we have Bearded Zach and Unbearded Zach, and we have a couple guys on both things. I will post some kind of grid or something on the Facebook page, and it was a very interesting evening here on the Pot on the Hell podcast. We haven't had Sonny on here in a while, and as you guys can hear, I'm losing my voice as we're going along here. And I'm gonna go reverse around the horn here. And final thoughts, BB.
What a great night! I enjoy my underrated Mount Rushmore better than my original Mount Rushmore. It's just, it's what you like and what you're used to, and these guys are a big influence of what's in my iPod, what I listen to. It's just a really, really cool way of seeing what everybody else likes. It was really cool.
BC.
I agree with BB. I like the second one a little bit because there's just so many guys that are under the radar out there. You can go on all night long for this.
Absolutely. We're gonna continue around the horn. We're gonna go with the speaker in between BC and Dylan. Sonny.
I love hanging out with you guys. It was a great idea. And like BC said, we could talk guitarists all night long. So it was a good idea. Thanks for having me on.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you for spending some, I'm sure, spare time with us. Dylan.
I love talking lists. It's always fun to debate those, and nothing's more fun than talking about guitarists because everybody has their own unique style. Like, it's just like, if you think about it, it's a 6-stringed instrument, like plugged in, but all of these different people that we listed each have their own different way of playing it, and they have their own style and their own thing that they bring out of it. And it's really cool to just talk about that and see what everybody brings to the table.
Definitely, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us guys babble on. And you guys out there, give us your what's your Mount Rushmore of mainstream hard rock and metal guitars. What is your under the radar guys? Who do you think belongs up there? Give us your guys, your album. Give us your song that you think these guys stand out on. And I'm going to throw it out there now that this is not going to be the only show that we're doing in this vein here. We are going to do future shows about European guitarists, and we're going to do versions of the Mount Rushmore, maybe of singers or bass players or drummers. So you never know what's going to be coming up on the Potter Than Hell podcast here. We will do United States. We're going to keep the rules as we have, but we're also going to do Europe and Asia and all the surrounding areas. So we're going to make it a global podcast for musicians. So, all right, and I just want to thank everybody. We're going to go around the horn here real quick. Thank you and good night from everybody. And go ahead, BC.
People, get out there. Look for obscure music. Get out there. See the live shows. Go buy the actual CDs and vinyl. And rock on, people.
All right, Dylan.
Hey, listen, check out all these guitarists that we mentioned because they're all amazing players and they're masters at their craft. So definitely check them out.
And Sonny.
Live music and keep this rock and metal alive because I don't want my music to die just because people stop buying it. So please support.
BB.
I heard a great saying yesterday. Live music is medicine. If the way that was told to me, I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Live music is medicine. Like, how can you not just go out, rock out, listen to a band? I don't care if you listen to, thrash metal or 80s metal. Live music is medicine. That's all I have to say. Great saying.
You could be in a bad mood and go see some live music and it just, you forget about all your problems.
Right up.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say thank you to my usual cohorts here, Dylan and BC and BB. And Sonny, thank you one more time very much for coming on with us.
I love being with you guys. You guys are a ton of fun.
All right. And we will definitely have Sonny back on the show. And I just want to say thanks everybody out there for listening. And we appreciate you checking us out. Share us out there on Facebook. Check us out on iTunes. Anywhere you can find a podcast. Just look for us out there. Get on iTunes. Give us a review. Give us a 5-star review. Will definitely help us out. And we're on YouTube, Castbox. You guys, thank you very much, and we will see you next time. And there will be a next time. This is not going to be the only show in this because we're also going to do. I'm not sure what it's going to be called. There's going to be to pacify these guys here that wanted the European guys, UK guys, and European guys on there. We're going to.
What the?
I'm sorry.
Can we take that again, please?
We can do that again.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start that over again?
Yeah, start that over.
All right.
What was I saying?
All right, I gotta stop laughing. All right. Can you play that back? I don't even know how I started that.
Yeah, hold
Sorry,
on.
Sonny.